I figured I would hang out with you guys for a little bit. God, I'm getting over being sick. I hate being sick. Being sick really sucks. But, nonetheless, I'm getting over it. So, and I'm at AC on full blast. So, it's pretty cold in here. Anyways, I wanted to pop in and do a live stream. So wait for people to get in here. I give a shout out to my brother for the gifts. He actually, it's very rare few times people know you quite well. So my brother actually picked me up something, and it's actually pretty cool. So I wanted to kind of share with everybody. Ruben, what's up, man? I appreciate it. I appreciate the gifts, dude. I really do. I love these. These are awesome. I appreciate them. GameStop only exclusive for Akuma, man. That's awesome. And I'm not taking them out the box either. So, aren't you at work? It's pretty quiet right now. Shh. You're not supposed to be watching when you're at work. It's pretty quiet. The kids are with their uncle. So I figured I'd jump on here on this live broadcast, chat with everybody and see what's up. Got 5 minutes. Oh, you're on your lunch break? Well, again, thank you. Thank you for the gifts, man. I appreciate it. I really dig the gifts, so that is awesome. I don't know if I should bring them to work, though. I might bring them to work, but I'm kind of nervous about bringing them to work because on my days off, I don't want anyone touching them. So I'll probably just stack them up there with the other ones. Up to me. Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Oh, man. Crazy enough, I didn't get much sleep because there was actually a fight outside my apartment last night. And it got pretty bad. It got seriously bad. Enough to, I guess, like some dude attacked a girl, like right in front of my apartment. Yeah. He had her pinned up against my window. I heard something bang my window, and I was like, what the hell is that? And I looked out the window, and I seen another guy come running up towards. So when I came outside my apartment, this guy had choked a girl and hit her, like right in front, and the cops had grabbed him already. And it's, crazy enough as everything went down. And some other person, I guess, wanted to make some sort of mockery out of it. And so he was like yelling that the cops were racist. He was trying to create a scene. He was telling his wife to record because he was getting arrested for obstruction. Appreciate it. Thank you so much, Godson. And yeah, like I can fully say I witnessed the whole thing. The cops were not being racist or anything like that. They were trying to break up the 2 girls that were fighting afterwards, and the boyfriend tried to hit one of the girls, and the officer saw it, so he shoved the boyfriend back, told him to get out of the way, and this innocent bystander guy just gets involved and is like telling everyone to calm down, and then he starts cussing at the cops. Cops arrest him for obstructing, and then he starts saying they're being racist, record it. And so that's one thing I wanted to kind of like talk about is these videos that we see on YouTube. Like some of them, I'm not gonna say all of them are that way, but it's really hard to decipher which ones is actually legit and which ones are not, because you have some that are legit, you have some that show, corruption, and you have some where people kind of instigate the issue and then start recording as the issue progresses. So you gotta get back to work. All right, man. All right, I will see you tomorrow. Definitely. Enjoy the rest of your day at work, bro. Don't get caught being on your phone. My brother. Anyways, for those that just popped in right now, he got me these for my birthday. He knows I'm a big fan of collecting these, so I'm going to add those over there. I was thinking about taking them to work. All right, bro, take it easy. But then I was like, I don't want people messing with them. Like, I got Akuma, which is a GameStop exclusive from Street Fighter. And then Kid Goku. with the flying Nimbus, the Nimbus cloud. If you guys can see it, so pretty awesome. So how's everyone doing this weekend, by the way? How's the weekend going so far? What's new with everybody? I know I didn't say I was going to stream, and I actually wasn't planning to stream. I rarely do stream anyways, but usually I tweet out or say something about it. I just decided to turn on, the broadcast and just go from there. So we'll see who pops in the chat. But how's everyone going? How's everything doing with everybody? How's your weekend going so far? I'll share this real quick. Try to put it out there, I guess, on Twitter. Well, that key for a second. I guess it's not going to be a good thing to share because then it'll just kill the feed. So, yeah, some craziness just kind of went on yesterday, so I don't know. That's just kind of weird. But nonetheless, what's new? What's new with folks? How's everyone doing? How you guys doing this evening or this morning, wherever you are in the world? How you guys doing? What's going on? Yeah, what's up, Isaac? How's it going, man? Appreciate it too, by the way. How you doing? Yeah, I'm doing good. First day of being 36 years old. So, what does a 36-year-old do? Get up in the morning, read the news, drink coffee. I don't know. It is cold in my place. I have the AC like on full blast. We've had a couple of storms roll through here, and yeah. I would love to be 29 again. 20s are awesome. 30s, it's like, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I appreciate that, Willard. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So what's new with everybody else? I mean, how you guys doing? How's your guys' weekend going so far? Coffee 7, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was saying in the beginning of the stream, I had a crazy night last night. I didn't get much sleep. It's hot in Texas. Yeah, I think it's pretty warm here, but it's not as bad as it would be. I think because we had a couple of storms roll through with what they call monsoon season here. We had a couple of storms roll through, so yeah, it kind of cooled things down. The individual, thank you so much, the individual. I appreciate that. I really do. But yeah, I didn't get to bed late only because like there was this crazy fight that broke out in front of my apartment last night involving a guy and a girl, and then the girl and the guy's girlfriend, which was like crazy. Crazy world we live in these days. Yeah, so still working on the Stylo 4. Let me tell you guys right now, there's a lot of things that I'm going to be covering with the Stylo 4. I don't know. So it's a 3, so yeah. Not a good one, though. 2 of them got arrested. 1 got a summons to appear. So she got like a little ticket. They sent her on her way. It was really bad though because the guy he actually woke me up because I was sleeping, and right off to my right is my window. He actually slammed her up against the window of my room, and then was hitting her outside. When I ran outside to go and try and stop it, cops was already there. When will I show off the Moto E5 Plus? When I buy it. I haven't bought it. They've been out of stock on Boost Mobile. I think was a couple days ago. Boost tweeted that they have the Moto E5 Plus, but I don't have the funds right now to just go and buy it. I go to Walmart and buy stuff. All right, bro. Yeah, it was pretty bad then. Crazy enough as is. So, hold on one second. Let me see who's at my door. I'll be right back. Hello, Dennis people. Alright, guys, I'm back. I'm sorry, I had to walk away real quick. Community Dental Children's Mobile Unit. So I guess they brought like a mobile dental unit at my kid's school, and they're walking around the neighborhood handing out flyers to get people to go get seen. So, hey, not bad at all. Except for that, my kids already had their checkup. Hey, Jaron, what's going on? But yeah, it was pretty bad last night. I don't know, crazy nowadays. But anyhow, so as I was stating, I'm still currently working on my review video for the Stylo 4. There's a lot to it that I kind of want to touch base on. I'm not seeing a lot of people covering that in depth. Excuse me. That in depth of it, or maybe they kind of like forgot to mention some things. What the hell? I just wanted to shoot a photo and say, accepted Eric. I can't make a pic. Oh. But yeah, that's gonna be a little bit of a while. The Moto E5 Plus, that's gonna be a little bit down the road. When I decide to buy it and pick it up, then I'll be able to do a review on it. I think that's like one phone that I actually want to have in hand to review, not so much as just do like a review of what I think about the phone, but actually have it in hand. It's got a lot of good, a lot of good feedback from a lot of people, and so that is something that I'm interested in. Getting the Moto G6 Play versus Moto 5 Plus. Robert Hughes, happy birthday! Thanks so much, Lonnie Jones. Happy birthday! Thanks. I appreciate that. Crazy enough as it is, though, that Motorola did announce that several devices being updated to Android Pie, and the Moto G6 Play happens to be one of them. Lady Shay Kennedy, happy birthday. I appreciate that, Shay. I appreciate that. So, like, now, when that update ever hits the Moto G6 Play, then I'll be covering the changes. The Moto G6 Play did get a recent software update. I'm going to tell you guys about it because I know, like, I put up a couple of videos about the screen having some issues. Do you still have display issues? Yes, actually, I still do. It's not as bad as it was previously, but it tends to still happen every now and then. But I'm just hoping, when the when 9.0 Pi hits the G6 Play, that'll totally eradicate it. And if that doesn't fix it, that tells me the last thing, and that it is actual hardware issue. And then I'll just send it into Motorola to get, serviced and fixed. But, I mean, it's the screen issues I'm having right now is, it's still the same stuff that's happening. It's just not happening as frequently as it did before. So you can go through, like, a long period of time with just no glitches at all whatsoever, and then all of a sudden it just starts to happen. Should I get the Stylo 4 or the LG Q7 Plus? I'm a Metro. That's really preference up to you, man. I mean, there's good reviews, good thoughts about the Q7 Plus, and there's some good reviews about the Stylo 4. So it's just really on what you're looking for. If you're looking for a more powerful phone, the Q7 is going to be your choice with the types of specs that it's yielding. And you can check out TechRight's video to see how it performs just by watching the phone when he's maneuvering through it. It gives you kind of idea. Like, I don't know if you guys ever do that. I mean, I know you guys watch like a ton of phone reviews. Not getting the Stylo 4 sound is bad. Yeah, the sound is not very loud. I'm gonna say that. It's not terrible, but and then again, it doesn't have any, like, I don't know. I guess I kind of got spoiled to the G6 Play because the G6 Play speakers is really good for a budget phone. I mean, it's loud. It has some depth to it. You can kind of just hear, like, it's not like bass like a sound system, from a car, but you can hear bass out of that speaker, and the dynamics of the audio is really good. And then going to the Stylo 4 and just hearing like a mono speaker, squawk box is just, just kind of, I was spoiled to the G6 Play speakers. Let me take advantage of Boost 20 plus off. Get the E4, 432, but no, G6 Play. Yeah. Let's see. How come phone makers make different phones for different continents, like Samsung C series? I don't have a definite answer on that, but I can say it just that's something with the manufacturers, and then also with those countries. You know, like there's like how right now the U.S. is really trying to push Huawei out of here, um, even though Huawei is like kicking ass in the market right now. The U.S. is trying to get them out of here, and it's really just between agreements with with those countries and with the OEMs on what goes where, and 'cause I know GSM is like worldwide used, but still the bands that the carriers support are very different, and maybe the devices that like the Samsung C series, maybe it's the bands that it supports are very few here in the U.S. that it would, and that's why it doesn't come here. Because I know there's some people that have bought international unlocked versions of certain phones, and when they brought it here to the U.S. and put it on T-Mobile or put it on AT&T, and it barely worked. Kendrick Sellers, happy birthday! Hey man, happy birthday! Well, happy birthday to you. Thank you for the happy birthday wish. So you still recommend the G6 Play despite the scrolling issues? Yeah, definitely. The scrolling issues is very rare. There are people who have bought the G6 Play and don't experience any of the things that I have. So I'm honestly really thinking that it's one of those things of like a bad batch, like first batch, second batch, third batch being developed, and maybe this batch that my phone was in was one of the ones where they just were sloppy with production, or just they were in a rush. I don't know. I'll be seeing you, bro. Peace. Thanks so much, man. I appreciate you came in here and said what's up. Is it better than the E5 Plus? Which are you referring to? Are you referring to the G6 Play, or are you referring to the Stylo 4? Be a little specific there so I know which one you're talking about. The G6 Play? Well, one, I haven't actually used the E5 Plus in my hand. I've seen everyone's videos regarding it, and everyone has good things to say about it, but I really just can't go off of that. I'm going to tell you right now, the G6 Play is a solid phone for what you get. If you get it at Walmart, definitely solid. $80 for that phone, I mean, that's a killer deal. The thing is that the G6 Play still kind of houses what we can consider to be older budget specs. So the 16 gigs of onboard storage. I know a lot of people are now with the expectations of every budget phone having 32, because the Stylo 4 has 32 gigs. The Moto E5 Plus has 32 gigs, so they're expecting more now. We've already kind of broke that wall down and are now pushing budget phones to house 32 gigs. And that's just because flagships are now pushing to stay at the levels of like 128 gigs or 256 gigs. And there's some flagships that are even dropped down to 64 gigs. But the 64 gig area of flagships is starting to kind of phase away, which only makes sense that budget phones would up the amount of storage that their budget devices have. Play at 720p. In terms of quality, what do you like more, the Stylo 4 or the G6 Play? As far as like quality, like the build quality of the phone. Sorry for screen brightness is dimmer than. Yeah, it is dimmer. When I'm actually on the sunlight, I have the Stylo 4 like completely full brightness. And then even then, like when you have it in full brightness, when the sun hits the screen, it makes the screen look like a display from, I want to say, what does it kind of remind you of? Like a Game Boy Advance. Like it just, I was like tripping out the other day because I was walking out into the sun. I had the display like completely on full brightness. And right when I got into the sunlight and the sun actually hit the screen, it made everything look like it was as if it was a Game Boy Advance. So, display-wise in sunlight, the Stylo 4 is not going to do it. The Moto G6 Play, I get better. It's better in outdoor sunlight. So the Moto G6 Play kind of rocks with that. But yeah. So, what was that last question? Gotta bring up that. So for quality-wise, I gotta say, the G6 Play and the Stylo 4 don't feel too different at all. I mean, honestly, I really do believe this is an acrylic plastic back. This is not glass. The front is, but not the back. But the Stylo 4 has the sides that's actually metal. It's a metal frame. The G6 Play has plastic. Thank you, Vicky. I appreciate that. Back durable enough to use without a case. I've dropped it and it hasn't cracked the back of it. Now, avoiding scuffs and scratches, that's going to happen. It's plastic, and it's not like a super hard durable plastic in that sense. If you were to drop it out on the road with like gravel and little rocks, it is going to nick it and give it some scratches. And it does not like the G6 Play. Do you mean India? Paul, what's up, man? Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Watching this on G6 Play, oh, been great for me so far. Yeah, like I said, like the G6 Play, not all of the G6 Plays were affected by that screen issue I was talking about. Only a few. There's a lot of people that reported it, and I'm thinking it's just the batch of production. Maybe there was a bad batch. Who knows? I'm still holding on to it. I'm still gonna wait until 9.0 hits that device, and if I still have the same screen issues, I'm sending it into Motorola for repairs. Right now between the Stylo 4 and the G6 Play, it's a tough one for me because I like Motorola. I like how it's nearly stock Android and clean. Um, I wish the G6 Play had more storage in it because a lot of applications are taking up more of your internal storage. And so that's why I think it was a perfect time for OEMs to push their budget devices into the 32 gig realm. I was hoping that the real budget devices would be 32 gigs, and then like the mid-range kind of higher end budget devices would be 64 gigs. This is at the point that we're at right now. Gaming is wild. I mean, think about it. Like Fortnite coming to Android, and PUBG, I think it is. Those types of games require a lot of storage and a lot of space. I might jump on a G6 Play for $80. Yeah, well, I mean, like I'm saying, the G6 Play is not a bad buy at all whatsoever. If you were actually gunning for the E4 Plus, then you might as well jump with the G6 Play. Adoptable SD card storage on the G6 Play doesn't help with app space. It doesn't? It actually helped me. Will Moto G6 Play won't have Fortnite? I'm not gonna say that it won't have Fortnite, in the future. Now it won't because from what I'm hearing, because my son is like heavy into it. He was like talking to me about it the other day, like how to get it on his phone, and I'm like, right now there's only select phones that can actually run Fortnite. But eventually there'll be a way. Now, Max Lee has found a way to run Fortnite on his phone, but obviously you would have to root your phone. Question: what game do you like more, Fortnite? Crazy enough, and you guys are probably gonna like laugh at me or make fun of me. I haven't played any one of them, and I just don't play them. Bill Hustles, thanks man, I appreciate it. I don't play any of them. I don't know why, I just don't. And it said 3 gigs of RAM. Mr. Max, I rock. Thanks, appreciate it. Appreciate the birthday wishes, guys. So I'm thinking like, okay, if it's a requirement to have at least 3 gigabytes of RAM or more to play Fortnite on an Android phone, then your best bet with Boost Mobile or with the prepaid would be to go for the Moto E5 Plus because I believe that one has 32 gigs of onboard storage and 3 gigabytes of RAM. So that should be able to push the game. Yeah. So I don't know. G6 Play is the way to go. If you're looking to get the E4 Plus, might as well get the G6 Play. What's for birthday dinner, bro? Actually, meatloaf. I don't know, some of you guys might think I'm weird. That's like one of my favorite dishes is meatloaf. Is the E5 Plus on Virgin? I'm not sure if it is. Crazy enough as it is because I keep seeing about like how Virginmobile is going to go down and all this other stuff, and then I go to Best Buy and I see like the Stylo 4 on Virginmobile. I like Maxie's video yesterday where he talked about focusing on content. Yes. Yeah, I mean, he said it all. He said it on that video, and I give Max props for that, because, I know some people are probably going to, like, trash his opinion on that. And some people have their preference. Like, people come to YouTube, and they want, like, full value production, like, almost as if, like, it's being directed by, Lucasfilms or something. Well, what he said is true. YouTube is about you, and make it about you. Like, you like share who you are to the world and whatever information you're going to share. I did a video about the Stylo 4 on Virginmobile. Really? Awesome. Will the E5 Plus get 9.0? I'm assuming so. If the G6 Play is going to get it, and I'm assuming that the E5 Plus is going to get it too as well. There was a bunch of devices listed on there. What Moto devices was going to get 9.0 Pi. Well, if it's okay, if it can handle games, then it's good. No need for it. Yeah, it's, it handles games very well. Like, I know it only has 4,000 milliamp hour battery, but I can tell you that the battery life is decent on the G6 Play for a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, and I made it through a whole day. And the only crazy thing is, which, some guy from Europe commented on my video and wanted to have a war of words with me because over there in the UK, the Moto G6 Play comes with a fast charging power brick, and on Boost Mobile it doesn't. Like the power brick you get with the Moto G6 Play does not support fast charging, but if you have a fast charging brick and you plug your USB cable into it, it charges up fast. Like I have my Moto X4's charger, which is fast charging or turbo charging, and I used the cable for the Moto G6 Play and plugged it into that wall brick, and it right there on the screen it said turbocharging. So the G6 Play supports turbocharging. You would just have to get a turbocharging brick. E5 Charlie, thanks, I appreciate it. E5 Plus was not listed of supported devices for 9.0. Really? Only the G and Z series. That's crazy. That's sad too, if it is. I would think that they would reconsider that and put the E5 Plus on there. If I knew Virgin was going to get the Stylo 4, I might have waited just to compare the two. I don't think there really is. I don't really think there's really much of a difference between the Virginmobile one and the Boost Mobile one. I know Boost Mobile's set to getting the Stylo 4 Plus, which some will complain about it. Because it is going to be over $200. It's like a no-win. Honestly, the way that I see it is like people got pissed off when Metro PCS got the better version of the Stylo series, and now that Boost is getting it, and not just it, but it's getting two versions of it. Then people are like, well, it's going to be overpriced. It's like there's no winning. It's like everyone wanted a good version of a Stylo to come to Boost Mobile. So you got the Stylo 4 now, which is the one I have, which is normal. And then you get the Stylo 4 Plus, which is like water resistant with, I think it has an additional RAM, so it's like 3 gigs of RAM instead of 2. It's sad because they started on 8.0. Yeah, it's weird that lower spec G6 Play will get a 9.0, not the E5 Plus. Well, I guess it's just because the G series, on the tier ranking of Motorola, the G series is above the E. You're welcome. You're looking good for 60, man. Thanks. I mean, the difference between the Stylo 4 and the G6 Play. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's I don't know. And then really, too, I mean, when it comes down to it, you have 9.0, you have 8.0, and I know that these are, there are features that kind of have, people drooling over in 9.0. For me, I'm very modest about it, so I'm not in a rush to have a device that has 9.0. 8.0 it runs very well right now for me too, and does what I need it to do. Verizon Postpaid is also getting Stylo 4. Cool. Well, they know more the G than the E. I wish the E had the same kind of respect though as the G series and as the X series. Has more than half of its storage space taken up. I want to say close to it. Because like before I started installing things, it was like 13 gigs already used, roughly about. So when I added my applications, they added an additional 4 gigs. That made 17 gigs of the internal storage used. So 32 gigs, when you kind of look at it, it's like when it says 32 gigs, you really have like 20 something kind of like as what it reads it as. So yeah, a little bit close to half. But even then, like with all the applications that I've installed right now, let's see. I don't know what my app count is. So we'll just go to, where's it at? I'm blind today. Okay, so I have like total, this is with system apps and then the regular apps that I have. 93 apps installed total. That's what I have on my phone right now. And the amount of space that it's taken up so far, and that includes cache built up from like, the web and then photos and videos. 20.46 gigabytes used out of 32. So, and it still runs like a champ. But yeah, close to half. I don't know why. It's like if you, I don't know if you guys notice that, but like every time when a device comes out and it has like more ample amount of storage, it just seems like that the amount the OS takes is a lot more than what it was before. Like if you get a phone that has 16 gigabytes of internal storage and runs 8.0, and you look at how much the OS takes, it's like 3 gigabytes, right? You get something with 32 gigs, and you look how much the OS takes, and it's like 8 or 9 gigabytes. It's like it just takes more and more and more. Current daily driver is a Stylo 4. It's the way that Sprint does it. Um, so like Sprint still wants people to sign up for postpaid. So when it comes down to Boost Mobile, they know that flagships people will chase after. So you get the S9 on Boost Mobile. If you want the S9 Plus, then that's their way of being like, well, Sprint and Boost are the same, and you can get the S9 Plus with us. Yada yada yada. Sign a contract with us. Hey, what's going on, man? You're gonna want 9.0 introduces gesture-based navigations. Yeah, okay. That's what I'm saying. Like the features have people like wanting to go after it. Like they gotta have it. But I mean, really, at the end of the day, I really don't need gestures. Like they're cool. I'm not gonna downplay it. They're cool. And yes, the argument between people nowadays about, well, they stole it from from iOS, and I don't think we can say that they didn't because the iPhone 10 had gestures, right? Now it's and like everything else is just kind of following iOS, which is like a whole different thing that I'm just kind of weirded out on Google and Android and everything else. But but yeah, the gestures are cool, but it's not something that I really really have to have. Doze mode. So you're talking about like, because I know that Doze was introduced. I want to say in Marshmallow. Doze was introduced then, which was supposed to help save the battery. Speaking of stealing from Apple, the Moto phone they just announced. Oh, the P30? Yes. There's no way anyone could defend the Motorola P30 and saying that Moto Lenovo didn't rip that off from the iPhone 10. It's clear. Even the ad has the wallpaper for an iPhone 10. It's just so bad. Like, there's nobody. If someone can clearly stand before everyone and defend that phone and win an argument, my jaw would drop, my eyes would pop out of my head. Because everything that phone screams iPhone, but then a lot of phones scream iPhone nowadays. It's like innovation is completely gone. Well, they steal it from Android, so well, yeah, which comes down to the whole thing. Like they steal from each other. There's not one thing that was completely developed and just done completely without the idea taken from a competitor. That's what businesses do. I mean, McDonald's to Burger King, Domino's to Pizza Hut, and you know, what is that? What's that other one? Papa John's, and I mean, you have it like Taco Bell versus every other taco joint out there. I mean, it's corporate America. What's that? Is the Moto P30 inspiration for the G and E series next year? Are you serious? A bunch of iPhone 10 clones. Yeah, a bunch of iPhone 10 clones. But I think it's because of like how we've been critical with these companies. Like every time they've tried to do something innovative, we've shot down, and I guess we were so vicious in critiquing it that maybe it just like put a scared bone inside every OEM out there. So now they're afraid to innovate, and they're like, oh well, the iPhone 10 did a notch that some people like, some people hate, but it sells. Let's do a notch too. Like, I think we've scared away the innovative side of every OEM out there. I wish HTC was doing well. I do too. HTC is still, probably one of my favorite brands out there. Pixel 3 and whatever the next iPhone is going to be number at, predictions. What do you mean by predictions? Mario, what's up, man? Thanks for the birthday shout out. Think about how the E and the G in the past had the same circular camera design as the C. Yeah. I can't even keep up with the amount of phones coming out. Yeah, it's sad because OEMs don't want to put out software updates when they know they can make money just building a new hardware. So now we're like flooded with all types of hardware out there. Motorola fell off. What do you mean by they fell off? Because they're actually doing pretty good. I mean, the P30 was a damn bad idea. I don't know what made them decide to just. Maybe they were drunk and they had a wild party and needed to come up with a new hardware, and then the guy was like, "Just rip off the iPhone and let's get back to partying. No one's gonna know." Oh, compared to an Google or Motorola, I wish they never sold them. That's the thing. Golly, I don't know. I wish Google never sold Motorola. I mean, people will say they should have, and like Motorola was a ship with a hole in it sinking bad. But still, I think Google had enough within them to actually plug up that hole. Don't really like notches. Yeah, I don't really see what the point is of having a notch. I really don't. I mean, they could just easily make a very, very, very small bezel at the very top, one that's like not really noticeable to the eye, that can house the camera and the proximity sensors. Some people say Lenovo is messing up Moto. The P30 is not their greatest idea. I'll say that. The G series that came out this year is doing well. The E series continuing to kick ass in the market. This P30, I don't know what the hell. That I've tested this year that has the best camera. So right now, because I haven't really picked up any new phones this year, really, I hardly did. This is like my dry spell year. But I want to say that the G6 Play to me has really good cameras compared to anything I picked up this year. Like the Stylo 4 has decent cameras. It still has the LG problem, and I call it the LG problem because all LGs have that problem when it comes to their mid range and their budget. And that's when you're in low light. When you're in low light, the viewfinder, before you take your selfie or before you take a photo, you see a lot of noise in it already. So when you snap that photo, like off in the areas where it should be shaded from shadow and dark, it's going to like be very spotty. Thoughts on Note 9? Overpriced. Overpriced. $1,000, and it's not a significant jump from the Note 8. So why? And that's one thing. Like honestly, that's one thing that pisses me off about OEMs. Like what the? I'm sorry, but people should be using money like that, like $1,000, towards like vacation time, or time with their family, or buying a vehicle they've always wanted. Like putting a down payment down on a decent car, not buying a damn phone. Yeah, bigger battery, and people are still scared that it has a bigger battery that's gonna explode. Like I predict in the next 4 or 5 months, someone's gonna post an article about a Note 9 exploding, and then try to make some sort of big news out of it, like it went back to it, back to the same old Note 7 issue. What's the monthly payment on a Note 9? What do you mean? Like for Sprint? Because I don't work for Sprint anymore. I haven't worked for them since May. But yeah, I don't think anyone should be wasting their money on something like that. Note 8 didn't explode. No, but I mean like the Note 9. Someone's gonna do it. There's always people out there that just love to like build stories out of something. Upgrading from S8 to 9 ain't worth it. Yeah, they're very many changes. Well, of course, I'm not paying $1,000 for the phone outright, but even then, paying $1,000 over time. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying that they pay for the monthly. That's what, but I mean, still, the phone shouldn't cost $1,000. That's just unethical. The phone shouldn't cost $1,000. You're getting stuff that's like near to the Note 8 with a few minor differences, like Bluetooth in the S Pen. Does that justify the price hike to 1,000 and above? But S10 will be big. Yeah, there are loopholes in the process. If you have like a newer phone, you trade in, you can get so much taken off the price of the phone. I know Sprint does that. It was like crazy because I remember one time I laughed when I was working for Sprint. I laughed my ass off on a promotion that they were running with the iPhone 10 last year. Well, it was earlier this year. They were like, you could, I think it was like you can get $350 off the iPhone 10 if you trade in any of the qualifying devices to get you 350 off. And they were naming all these devices like the iPhone 7 Plus, the iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, the freaking what was it, S8, S8 Plus, and then they listed on their iPhone 10. And I'm like, wait, so who's gonna go? Who's already on the Sprint? Because this is for Sprint, already Sprint customers. This wasn't for new customers coming in. That's why I was laughing. But who's gonna come in from Sprint with an iPhone 10 and trade it for 350 off an iPhone 10? Apple pissed me off with the iPhone 10. It had iPhone 8. Oh yeah. I don't know. The way that they're pricing these phones, and that they feel like it's justified because of these very very small, these very minute features, like features that 9 times out of 10 you would only show it when you're showing it to a friend. Like when your friend's like, "Oh, is that the Note 9 or is that the next iPhone?" Like, yeah, look what it can do. It can do this, boom. And that's probably like the only time you ever really fuck with that feature. And then you'll go like the rest of your week not ever really using it. And I don't see how they can just justify putting a price at that amount. As I said, like OEM's got to go back to the drawing board. They have to go back to capitalism. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that when people hear, I don't know, somebody might come across this that disagrees with me and thinks that the iPhone 10 is the most godly product ever made, and will say everything under the sun to discredit me, and that's fine. Sometimes I touch nerves with people from the things that I say, but I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Someone's gotta say it. They're overly damn priced, and they know they know that they're doing that. And then even on top of that, like how does it make them feel now? Like every other OEM that's putting out a flagship is raising the price of their flagship. They're trying to hit that $1,000 mark. Samsung, of course, can hit it because they've been Apple's rivals for the longest time. Now Apple's taking a step back because they're giving out 3 iPhones this year, and the budget-friendly one I think is going to be priced at like $699. We're not eating for a few weeks. I just bought an iPhone. iPhone 11 would be like $10,000. Well, it's hot and new, powerful phone. Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. I don't think phones should have 3,000 milliamp hour battery. It's not good for flagships. Well, yeah, especially the way that, most of the things that we do nowadays is very demanding of power source. Because, 5-6 years ago, it was all about, Instagram, Facebook, and people were just doing that. Nowadays, like, everyone's streaming on Facebook, and they're streaming on Instagram, and they're streaming on Periscope, and like live broadcasting is like what I always thought was going to be the future is now present. That people would love to just jump on Instagram and just talk about whatever they want to talk about, and then the live broadcast, and it's very very consumes the battery quite a bit. Do you think phones and service prices will increase when 5G is available? Yep, definitely. Skip your next rent and your bills. Go buy a Note 9. Hell no. I mean, and that's why my channel has always really been circulated around budget phones. I mean, it's not just because I have an interest in them. It's what I can afford. I'm poor, people. I'm poor. I live paycheck to paycheck, just like everyone else out there. There's no fat check coming in that I can just dump on all kinds of electronics. I do what I can to bring what I can for you guys to see and talk about things that I think you guys should be aware of. That's kind of like the balance in the channel. Of course I don't have that many subs. Who said I did? But that's like exactly what I'm talking about right there. I never said I had a lot of subs. I have a lot of friends on here. But, I mean, I'll give you the foreshadow. What's your point behind it? What's my next unboxing? Well, it'll probably be the plus version of the Stylo 4. Because that's one that I'm kind of interested in getting. E5 Plus, when I can, I'm gonna have that. If you have them on hand, can you show us the size difference between the G6 Play? I don't have the G6 Play on hand. I have the Stylo 4, but I can tell you that the G6 Play is shorter. So like the Stylo 4 is right here. The G6 Play probably comes up to about right there, and it's a bit narrow. Um, and the next video that I do, I'll make sure to make mention of that and show it side by side. The G6 Play is actually being used right now. So, since I, got the Stylo 4. But, yeah, I don't know. Price hikes in flagship devices is just crazy these days. So, yeah. But as far as like for future unboxings, it's gonna be those phones, but it's not gonna be anytime soon. It's not gonna be like in the next coming weeks or anything like that. Probably won't be till like September or something like that. Doesn't have any subs is because he gives it to you straight with no chaser. He doesn't give the fluff and try to hype these. My standards for phones are low. Mine's are too. Design you a t-shirt. Really? Cool. I'm interested in seeing that. That'd be cool to have. I appreciate that. The HTC Desire 510. That's a phone I never got to have. I never got that phone. But like HTC devices to me are like HTC, the company by itself, is the company that's slept on. I think really the reason why HTC gets slept on so much is because feature-wise they don't do anything drastically crazy. I was supposed to DM that to you. Oh, okay. I see you're about to hit 9K. Yeah. But it's these things that I care more about. Interacting with you guys. The numbers is not a real big deal. Google owns a piece of HTC. Yeah, I just don't understand why they don't just tap them. I mean, just bail HTC out of the rut that it's in. Phone just needs bigger batteries. Okay. Good, not great camera. Gaming, not the best, but good. Exactly. And there's phones out there that handle that. I think like for on the LG side, I would say that the X series, so like the X Charge, the X Power, really good for gaming. The E series from Motorola, in my opinion now, is actually pretty good because it's got that big battery to kind of just withstand that. Oh, I appreciate that. Perfectly made man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm gonna say how I feel about things, and I know sometimes it may strike a nerve with some of you guys. Some of you guys may see things differently than me and question where I'm coming from on it. But I'm just, I just tell it like it is. I don't want to make everything all fancy. I just want you guys to know exactly what it is. Like if it comes to a phone, I want you guys to know how it really is going to work. If it's good, if it's not, and even with phones that don't have all that great, specs to it or whatever, if I find a workaround that, will kind of alleviate that, I'll share it with people because some people won't buy a phone because it has that one little problem. But if someone finds a workaround for it, then it's something that they can live with, then they'll end up, spending money on a phone and not spending too much for a phone. I've done that in like the earliest days of, budget phones and prepaid phones, and I still continue to do it now. It's just these days, man, lock bootloaders and all that other stuff. They make it so hard to root phones nowadays, it's ridiculous. And honestly, personally, I feel like that you guys should have control over that. Like, I agree with Max Lee on that point that he stated about rooted phones and, all this humbug about it, about if you root your phone, it's so unsecured and blah, blah, blah. Well, what he said there is true. Like, that's something that you guys should have the choice of. They shouldn't be locking down bootloaders, or they shouldn't restrict you from being able to unlock your bootloader. Like, if they lock down your bootloader, you get it that way, fine. But if you have the phone and you go to their site to get it unlocked and you get that token from them to go into ADB and unlock the bootloader, you should be able to do that. It shouldn't be something that you would have to like argue with them back and forth. Why did it do that? Obviously, one of the things that I can think of is that if you're able to unlock the bootloader and you are able to root the phone and install a custom recovery on it, then it's the makings of you flashing a custom ROM. Now we have a lot of home developers that are super smart that can put together a freaking decent ROM that's probably even better than the stock ROM that comes with the phone, and actually get your phone up to date. Because if you think about it, if you rooted a Moto G6 Play, right, you would be able, with developers out there building the latest versions of Android in their custom ROM, you would be able to keep your phone up to date. So it started off on 8.0, you can get it to 9.0, you can get it to whatever the next version of Android is after and after. Tech Rants, happy birthday to you, sir. Thanks so much, I appreciate that. I don't want root, I'm good. Well, I mean, like, you don't have to, but I'm just saying that there's people who don't care to root their phones, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's people out there who want to root their phones because their phone is getting development and they want to be able to keep their phone up to date. Because sometimes people are just tired of going out every freaking year and upgrading or buying a new phone. Sometimes someone just wants to buy a phone and just leave it at that. And Tech Red, what's up? Thanks so much, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, they don't want to buy another phone. So they want to be able to root their phone to be able to install recovery and then flash custom ROMs on it. And with, OEMs bending to carriers about locking down bootloaders, and of course this is also a bonus for OEMs too, because with the bootloaders being locked down and you not being able to install a custom ROM and keep your phone up to date, means that if you wanted the next version of Android and you got to have the next version of Android, then you know what to do. You got to pull out your wallet and buy the new hardware for it. So they know that. That's what comes to my mind when I think of it. Like, why are OEMs locking down bootloaders and not giving you the ability to unlock the bootloader? Like Samsung, right now, any of the new the S9s, right, that are on carriers, the bootloaders are locked and there's no way of getting it unlocked. And I think they're also doing it to the international versions. LG's always made it a pain in the ass. I mean, geez, the G Stylo. For Boost Mobile, I know Metro, they actually got theirs, rooted, and they had many different ROMs for the Metro version for the G Stylo, the original Stylo. For Boost Mobile, we had to hop through hoops. We had to freaking use ADB. We had to freaking bypass just a lot, run scripts that just really was like very, very insecure, and a lot of people bricked their phones doing it because it was a pain in the ass. I have my G6 Play with root. Awesome, Steve. Awesome. I feel like flagship phones, should take about 2 to 3 years to break. It should. Originally, it should. 2 to 3 years, I can live with. 4 years is what I'm thinking they should be. But it's not going to happen, sadly. Well, they need to look and see if the phone will get updates, not just get the phone. But that's the thing. If you kind of think about it, like look back 5 years ago and compare it to now, how many phones are getting not just software security patches, but how many phones are getting actual software updates nowadays? One, if lucky. Zero. I mean, look at the E4 Plus on Motorola. I've said this, that phone can definitely run 8.0. You guys know it, I know it. Will Motorola do it? No, but they dropped the G6 Play. And they know that it's similar to the E4 Plus with a few minor bump ups, and that people did flock to go get it. Because the E4 Plus was not going to get Oreo. And it's capable of running it. There's people that have rooted the phone already. Have you noticed a change in how they sell prepaid phones? First they had boxes with Windows. Yeah. Yeah, now there's none. Now there's just boxes in a box. iPhones. Now it's just paper card display. Yeah. Well, updates are not Moto's focus. It actually should be. It may not be their focus, but it should be. But that's what I'm going back down to. It's like it's easier for them to put out hardware because they know people will go out and buy it. But that just kind of screws the consumer because you really don't stay put with a specific phone. You end up, going out and buying another phone right away. And it depends when you buy the phone. Like, you could buy, like, the Moto G6 Play now, or say, like, you buy it in November, and you're like, okay, I'm on Oreo. And another Motorola device comes out that's new, it has 9.0, and you barely had time with the G6 Play, but you already went out and got that phone because it has 9.0, straight out of the box. It's just to me it's insane. Like, I think that you should have the power to control the phone. Android is open source, so you should have that right to choose if you want to modify the phone. I think about how often Apple messes up iPhones with updates. I mean, yeah, that is too. Well, it's about the carrier too. Of course it is. The idea is the idea behind all of it. Like, I know the carrier's involved, and I know that the OEMs are involved, and I know they have their agendas behind it, and they are a business. They want to make money. I get that. I know that. But my thing is that Android is open source. Okay, that is the entire main thing about it. Whether it's the carriers or the OEMs, point is Android is open source. You have access to the source codes if you want to build your own version of Android. So what's the point of having it open source if you're going to lock it down? That's my whole point. Like I said, because if you allow the bootloader to be unlocked so then you can root your phone, so then you can add a custom ROM, doesn't mean that everybody is going to do it. Like, I've done custom ROM reviews for the Galaxy S2, and I've had people that ask, how to install the ROM, and I've made tutorials on how the ROM runs and the features and everything, but that doesn't mean that everybody did it. Everyone with the S2 Epic 4G Touch didn't root their phone. So, I mean, it still comes down to that. Just because that you have the ability to unlock the phone and use it doesn't mean that everyone is going to. There's already someone who said that, they're not interested in rooting their phone. And it's all about preference. But let me decide if I want to root my phone or not. Like, OEMs and carriers shouldn't make that choice for me. Now, if it's an iPhone, I can understand that because Apple is pretty locked down. We know this. Everything is locked down from them, from their software to their hardware to all their little features inside. It is all locked down. There's not another developer that's doing the same thing for Apple. They don't allow outsourced developers to build anything for them. That's Apple. Android's to be completely different. And that's all I'm trying to say, is that there are people that want to do it, and they should have that right to do it. I mean, they bought the phone, they spent their hard-earned money on it. They should have the right if they want to put a ROM on it. If they don't have to. Carriers shouldn't make that choice, and OEM shouldn't make that choice. Which is why, like with Project Fuchsia, while it is going to be in a good way, making sure that everyone's on an equal playing field because they all, OEMs would have to license whatever they call Project Fuchsia. I know that's its code name right now, but whatever they call it, if they use it, they're going, I'm 12, so my mom buys my phones. Hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I appreciate your point of view. I understand where you're coming from, and I get that. I'm just stating the obvious in all of it. It's like, it should be your choice. You're the consumer. Technically, the way that I look at it, when it comes to business, and I think that some businesses have forgotten this, is that you, the consumer, should be the one in power. Because if it's not for your hard-earned money, they have no business. If you're not buying from them, they're not making money, right? So if you want the ability to do something that is already within the grasp and in the realm of what you're supposed to be able to do, they shouldn't dictate that. Because we've been rooting and romming for like a long ass time. And there are still people that still bought phones from them. They didn't lose any market. They didn't lose any profits. It's just, this is their way of putting a grip around it and squeezing more money out of something. It's what they're doing. It's like that last bit of, that's why Huawei is number one. There's various other reasons why Huawei is number one and why it's kicking ass in the market. But yeah, it's like, they're squeezing every last drop out of that squeeze it, or that Capri Sun. It's like, when you drink the Capri Sun, they're so good. You drink it and then the pouch is empty, so you start squeezing it to get the very last drops out. That's what OEMs and carriers are doing. They're squeezing every last dollar out of you. I say, let those bootloaders be unlocked. That's just me. These companies will not fix flawed updates. You're right. You're absolutely right. I wish Nokia would have their phones available on Boost. That would be. I think what was the last Nokia Boost Mobile had? I have it somewhere too. I don't remember what it was. I know it was like a blue phone, and it didn't even have a front-facing camera. And Apple still makes money because people, no, as if it's an iPhone, that's good. Yeah, Lumia 635. There you go. I still have it somewhere around here. That phone was actually pretty good, you know. For when I first got it, I was like, oh man, you know, it lacks things that I'm already used to with other, you know, budget phones. But like trying to take a selfie with that and then hearing that beeping sound to know that your face is inside the frame bubble to let you know that you got a solid selfie going on and go ahead and press the button for the camera. It was like crazy. And Windows was actually pretty good. Sadly enough, it had rarely had any development for it. And that's what pretty much killed it. No development. No development, lack of applications, lack of services. It was great though. I mean, if you were like heavily rooted into, you know, Xbox and everything, well then yeah, you know, you had access to your libraries from your Windows phone, and then you know, if you had a Zoom player, then you pretty much knew how that would work on there. Yeah, sad enough, but I mean, it would be cool to see them on there. I would love to see some Blackberries. Like these newer Blackberries coming out, and some of the ones that are now considered like a year behind, I would love to see them come to Boost. I know Boost has a lot of, you know, well, they don't have a lot, but they do allow bring your own devices, and there's some to name a few. I just wish they would allow more different devices. You know, cool that if you got an essential phone, you can put that on Boost Mobile. Um, hey, people who say Android is for poor people because most people are struggling. It's the fan wars. Just don't pay any attention to that. It always comes out that way. It starts off with you know what OS can do what. Then it goes down to, you know, your living class. Are you rich or are you poor? And then it goes down to your intelligence. They think you're stupid if you don't agree with them. And then it goes down to cursing every member of your family, your relatives, your ancestors, your pets. It's just dumb jargon. I don't pay attention to that. I find prepaid carrier fan wars annoying too. It is. Interesting enough, I guess someone like thought because I made that video about the Stylo 4 on the different prepaid carriers, and then someone was like, they commented, they were like, this guy sounds like he's butthurt. I'm like, really? Yeah, I'm just making a straight point to say that it doesn't matter. I mean, because it's really, the truth to the matter is, it doesn't matter how damn good of a phone you have. You can have a fucking $1,000 phone with a huge amount of RAM. Call it 10 gigabytes of RAM and fucking 256 gigabytes of internal storage with the best GPU for graphics rendering. And you can have a freaking Snapdragon 845 or Snapdragon 855, and that hasn't even came out yet or something. It doesn't matter how powerful the damn phone is. If you're on a network in your city that is shitty as hell, then how the hell are you going to enjoy a fast phone if it doesn't have a reliable network to connect with? You can't just hop around the Wi-Fi spots everywhere you go, find a damn Starbucks and link up with it. You know? It also matters about the carrier that you have. You know, people have their preferences. Metro works good in this place. Boost works good in this place. And you guys get the point. My point always is go with what works in your area. Because that's the only way you're going to have a decent experience. Is if you go with a carrier that works great for you. You know? And then you don't have to chase every phone out there, too. That's another thing. I know we put up videos about Boost Mobile phones and Metro PCS phones and Cricket phones, and we, you know, show off this phone, and maybe sometimes we get excited because we're nerds and we geek out on the specifications and all that stuff about the phone, and it hypes you guys up to, you know, think you guys have to go and buy the phone. But, you know, if you have a phone that you're pretty happy with and you think is pretty solid, and if you always have to second guess and think, should I spend my money on upgrading to this phone? The chances are, if you have a pretty good phone you're happy with, stick with it a little bit longer. It's not going to kill you. Well, facts, Metro won with the Stylo 4. What do you mean they won with the Stylo 4? If you're talking about network connectivity, that varies from where you live. Where I live at right now, Metro is not good here. One day, when they actually get it right here in my city, it'll be a point where I can go and buy a Metro PCS phone, and use it. Maybe we should go back to payphones. I think here in my city, they're converting the payphones we have around here. They're converting them to like hotspots that you'll be able to like be handed off to on every block. So everywhere you go, you have some form of connection, whether you have mobile network connection or you can connect through Wi-Fi. And I think other major cities are going to be doing that too, which is kind of crazy to go on that route. Metro lost the Moto E5, that color. What color did they get? Did they get the same color as T-Mobile or no? I haven't paid attention to news lately, so I don't. I heard that the E5 Plus was coming to Metro. I just didn't know if they were gonna get the same one as. They got the ice blue one. I don't know. That doesn't look too bad, at least in my opinion. If anything, I would like to get it. But then I saw something interesting about it. Boost lost the Stylo 4 because Metro had a good deal on it. Oh, you're talking about that? Oh, about deal wise? Yeah, Metro had a better deal. But even then, I mean, like any company can run a promotion. I can have an infrastructure of a network that's so crappy you would get like 1 megabyte of like download speed. But if I go and promote the Stylo 4 and say, if you come sign up right now and bring your phone number, I'll give this to you free plus 1 month of your service paid. And people are going to flock to it because it's a free phone and 1 month paid. But what they forget to think about is how well is that phone going to function on the network? And there's not one company that covers the entire United States with equal settings. So you're not going to run 67 megabytes in California on Boost Mobile and run 67 megabytes download in Florida. Not happening. Happy birthday. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, they set their different prices, and I know it's pretty crazy, but if I'm not mistaken, I know Cricket's a set prior, but doesn't Cricket have just a little bit slightly higher specs than Metro's and Boost Mobile Style 4? I'm thinking John from MTR said that it had three gigabytes of RAM instead of two, but I'm not sure if it's water resistant. But I know the Stylo Plus coming to Boost Mobile, that one is going to be water resistant, so it'll be the first Stylo that you can take in water. But I don't think you'll be able to use the S Pen in water. I was talking to a coworker of mine about that. I was like, yeah, Boost is getting the Stylo 4 Plus sometime soon, and has a little bit better specs. It's different color variation, so I think it's like blue, like the back of it is like blue. Ah, appreciate that, Pop Trigger. I appreciate that. It's a birthday gift. Thank you. I don't know if Cricket's is Cricket's water resistant as well. You think people should wait and get the Stylo 4 on what, on Metro or on Boost Mobile or what? What do you mean? Or you mean wait and get the Stylo 4 Plus? Oh, the Plus. I mean, like I said, it's a matter of preference. I'm more of a modest shopper, you know. Do you think the Stylo 4 Plus is worth buy? I would say look for the deals, because I can tell anyone right now, because I think it was Warren who commented on one of my videos, and he said that if the Stylo 4 Plus is over $200, then it's overpriced. And I can say it's going to be over $200 because the Stylo 4, this version of Stylo 4 is $199.99 retail without any promotion or deals. So, of course, the Plus version is going to be more. The 4 on Boost was a fail. How was it a fail? Just out of curiosity, I want to know what your guys' thought processes are, because to me, I mean, I want to know what you think. No, I mean, like it's open topic forum, man. Go for it. How would you say it's a fail? No one's gonna get mad, dude. Just be honest and truthful. Had the same internals as the Trivia HD. But yeah, never be afraid to speak your mind. Well, first, it came out last. Okay. So it came out last compared to the other carriers that got it first. CV Tech did a comparison between the Stylo 4 and the Tribute. Yeah, I seen that video. So it was last. I'm mad. My Moto E5 Plus is not getting the Android 9. Yeah, man. I didn't even know that. I thought it was gonna get it, and the specs are okay. You're referring to the processing chip of 1.5 gigahertz. Yeah, I know that bothers a lot of people. I know I said what I said in my rant about it, and I was just being blunt. But I know to some people specs matter, and so 1.5 is gonna have people frown compared to the one on Metro, which is running. It's clocked at 1.8 gigahertz, and not everyone wants to root their phone to be able to overclock the CPU. So no adaptable storage. Yeah, that's LG. That's LG all the way. Doesn't the Metro version have 2 gigabytes of RAM of RAM? TFT instead of IPS. Yes. Oh, it does have three as well. Three or four? Hmm. Let us see. Have you played and tested with the Samsung Galaxy J7 Refine? Yeah, I actually played with it at Best Buy. It's not bad. It just it feels the same as what was last year's model? The J7 Perks feels very the same to that, but the cameras on it, I'll tell you, if you're one who's very particular about cameras, the J7 Refine is going to be okay. I mean, its cameras is really good, and I think that's where its focal point was. I gotta say, because there wasn't much of a bump up from the J7 Perks. LG Stylo 4 Metro specs. Well, according to Swappa, so it says that LG Stylo 4 for Metro PCS, 1.8 gigahertz octa-core processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 32 gigs of onboard storage. So it has the same amount of RAM. I'll look at a different site, see if it says anything else different. But that one says two. This one here too from GSM Arena says 2 gigabytes of RAM. So let's see. Let's go to Gadget now. Price around the same as the E5 Plus and J7 Refine. Those phones have better battery. Well, better battery for E5 Plus and camera. J7. Yeah, they do. Oh yeah. The Stylo 4's cameras, I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm gonna tell you guys, the Stylo 4's camera, if you're really like very particular about 2 gigabytes of RAM. So the Stylo 4 on Metro has 2 gigabytes of RAM. So same as Boost. Um, but yeah, for if you're looking for camera wise, and I think that's where this is really rolling down to, E5 Plus if you're looking for battery, J7 Refine if you really need like a damn good camera. And the only reason I can see someone going for the Stylo 4 on Boost Mobile is if you wanted something that had a stylus, because there's not really a specific thing that the Stylo 4 is for. Then trying to be productive with that stylus pen and with pen pop and quick memo to jot down things, use a stylus for whatever. See, U3 Class 10. Oh. One good thing about the Stylo 4, LG has a track record of pushing a quick update to the stylus. Yeah, they do. That's probably one of the best plus sides to it. J7 is overpriced. It'll eventually go down in price though. That's the thing. Like, you don't ever have to grab a new phone right when it comes out. Like if it's one that you really want, you don't have to get it like right away. Especially if the phone that you currently have still kicks ass and still doing what you need it to do. Wait a little bit and wait for those deals to happen because they're always going to have deals. Stylo 4 highlights, large display, and stylus. Yeah. Does the J7 Refine still have the front flash? I think it did. I could be wrong. I know I had the dual same type of pixels for the front and rear camera, but I don't remember if it had flash. I was playing around with it in Best Buy. So that's my bad on that. But you can always see. My opinion, screen flash works better than front LED flash for selfies. Yeah, Well, sometimes. I mean, if you okay, like if you're in a room like this and you have like a little bit lower lighting than this, that flash kind of helps. But like if you're like in a really dark room, that flash is gonna work against you. I don't plan to get the J7 refined. Yeah, I don't plan to get the J7 refined. I have no intentions of getting that. The E5 Plus, I do intend on getting that phone, and the Stylo 4 Plus. But the J Samsung hasn't really been in my best favors for a long time. I'm still wondering why they did what they did with the J7 perks. I mean, considering the fact that the first J7 that came out on Boost Mobile was good. I had to say it was. It gave it gave things that I think that a lot of us kind of wanted in a mid range phone. It had decent cameras. Yeah, it had a front facing flash on it, which helped out at times for low light shots. But even the cameras did good without flash in low light situations. And then you had the battery that had a built in NFC chip. Um, Going on forward, the J7 just hasn't lived up to the original one. I'm so impressed with the Moto E4, best phone you can get for less than $40. Yeah, the E4 is a solid phone. Well, the Stylo 4 Plus will only have about 18 gigabytes of memory. Oh, it'll probably be around the same. Again, like the amount of the OS and then the UI that LG puts on top of Android is what's sapping up that internal storage. And then of course the pre-built-in applications, which is I'll agree with anyone under the sun. Like I know people have said Boost Mobile sucks for this reason, for that reason, and I know some people will say they suck because of all the damn bloatware they have on their phones, and I will agree with people on that. I don't want to be told to use this application by having it installed. If I wanted it there, I'll install it there. I'm okay with if they like add in those they're not applications. What the hell are they called? They appear on your phone as the app icon on your home display, but when you click it, you actually have to download the application. Forgot. I think it's called a stub. But I'm okay with them putting stubs on my phone, like the stub for Tidal, the stub for freaking you know um, Boost Music, and the stub for AirG, which I don't even know who uses that. But yeah, don't force me to have the application. Well, Boost does not have stamps on their phone. Are you talking about like branding, carrier branding? Yeah, they don't, because it's when you boot up the phone, you can tell it's Boost Mobile. That's that giant boot up animation of Boost Mobile on the display. So it's just, yeah, it's crazy. I think that's about the only thing I can say that's negative about Boost Mobile, and the fact that they say they got you covered, but they really don't. Boost is only going to work great in very highly populated metro areas. I've noticed that. I've traveled from here to go and see my dad, and in certain areas, I was in roaming. I had to use my Project 5 phone because that's the only one that maintained network connectivity, traveling freaking 14 hours from here to the heart of the U.S. And yeah, I just love how they all the freaking prepaid companies, we got you covered nationwide. You're covered nationwide. We're the only one that offers coverage nationwide. Nationwide, I can't get coverage in this area. It's like you're scared to drive on the interstate because you're driving at night. You got no damn service. There's a freaking thunderstorm going off. You can't see. You're in the plains for one, so possible tornado if it was tornadic. You ain't got a phone to freaking call anybody for help. So yeah, no. I always when they talk about nationwide coverage, I don't buy it at all. I never will. Doesn't matter what carrier. Cricket, Boost, Metro, doesn't matter. They don't have you covered. Now, I've never really been on Metro that much, but from a lot of people that have, they did state that Metro doesn't have all access to T-Mobile's network, only just to a few. Don't mind my son, he's throwing a fit right now. They now charge for 411 calls. Yeah, but then again, okay, honestly, like I know for older folks, 411 they're used to that because that's been around since I was a kid. You dial 411 for information. But then today you have Google. You really don't need to go to use Boost 411 to get a phone number. You're 100% right. Here in the Pittsburgh, I go and get 90 megabits per second down, but as soon as I leave the city, done. Yeah, it works good in like highly populated metro areas, and the same is for Metro PCS and the same is for Cricket. As a matter of fact, history on Metro PCS before it ever got bought by T-Mobile, because I remember when they first came out, they were using a system called AWS. Because I was trying to use my Razer V3M and bring my own device to Metro PCS when they started expanding out of Florida, and the guy was like, yeah, it needed to use AWS systems in order for it to work on Metro. But yeah, Metro PCS was only like in a few cities. They've always been city based. Even with Cricket, Cricket's always been city based before they were bought by AT&T. And Boost was the same. Boost is the same way. It's all city based. And so a lot of major cities, these places you would have best service. If you're in rural areas, you're gonna not get the best service at all. I mean, Verizon, although I dislike their work practices, their work ethics or business ethics, but Verizon does pretty much got you covered. J7 is overpriced, lacks fingerprint scanner, and looks a little outdated. Yeah, it's just Samsung being lazy. Like, to me, something that I feel like with the J series and whatnot, I feel like Samsung just doesn't give a damn about mid range. They're too focused on competing in the flagship area, so they're going to put all their attention and focus on their flagships and not put a thought into any of their mid-range and budget phones. Which is why I like, other OEMs. Like, I like LG for that fact. I like Motorola for that fact. It's like they do work on their flagships to contend against other flagships being released every year, but they also put thought into their budget and devices because they know that those sell too. And it would only make sense. If you build a budget device, you might as well put some damn thought into it. I myself, at this point right now, I'm just, the way that this industry is going, it's really looking to screw everybody over. It really is. The lack of software updates and not putting any innovation out there, copying from a competitor so blatantly, it's like, I mean, people are very picky about phones. If you bought the Moto P30, there's no way you're going to go through an entire time with the Moto P30 and not have someone mistaken it for an iPhone 10 or behind your back make fun of it because it's not an iPhone 10. Well, one person said not to buy Samsung mid-range. That's the thing. Some people like Samsung. So why can't Samsung cater to, why do they have to cater to only one type? Why can't they cater to all types? There are a lot of different types of people that buy their products. To me, in a business perspective, I would only see money. I wouldn't see class. I wouldn't see anything else with a customer but money, because that's what I am interested in making is money. And so it wouldn't matter to me, like, if you couldn't afford my top end product, but you can afford one of my mid ones or one of my low end ones, then I'm gonna make sure that my mid and my low ends are just as good, not spec wise to my high end, but just as good for your satisfaction, for you to trust my business in the future. That's the way I look at it. I really do want to open this, but then I want to keep it sealed in the box. I so badly want to open this just to kind of look at the detail. Because that is some awesome detail. Oh, he even has the slippers. This for my birthday. My brother got it for me. That and Kid Goku with the Flying Nimbus. Those are going to go up there. Wi-Fi Direct doesn't work for me on my Moto E5 Plus. It worked on my LG Stylo. What do you mean Wi-Fi Direct? Like, actually using Wi-Fi Direct to connect with another phone, or to connect with, like, other electronics in your house, like your smart TV or something like that? Because I know that's what Wi-Fi Direct is on my phones when I want to connect it to my Nexus player, or if I want to connect it to my LG TV. To a smart TV? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's crazy. That's weird. I don't know. That's probably what the other bonus I have with my Stylo 4 is because I have an LG Smart TV. It's I think I want to say it's It's a 49-inch. It's not like a drastically huge TV, but yeah, it's a smart TV, and so my LG device connects to it. The Wi-Fi hotspot's good. Yeah, kind of nice of Boost Mobile to up it, not just for particular plans, but for every Boost Mobile customer of their deprioritization. I don't know if you guys read about that, but now the deprioritization limit moved up from like 22 gigabytes to 35. So by like what a 13 gigabyte jump, which is nice. So I think you should get a Samsung mid range if you're on a budget. I mean, I have some. They're older. Like I have the J7 from 2016, and also the J3 from 2016. Both are still my favorites out of the J series that came to Boost Mobile. Every other one after that just made me feel like they don't care. Wow. But even if then, there's some other companies out there, like, and I was told about Unreal Mobile. I went to go check that out. It seems pretty solid. Their pricing's not bad. It was like $10 for a 1 gig plan. I think it's 10 for a 1 gig plan. Hold on, let me go to their website. I know they're pretty solid with, like, the base plans if you're like, if you're on a real tight budget and you don't use a lot of data. My thing is that I wonder if it'll happen to them like what happened to freaking Ring Plus. Okay, let's. Yeah, you guys can tell me about stuff like that. Let me just see the plans here. Oh, it's one of those ones I gotta check your availability first. Hold on. You can bring your own phone with Unreal Mobile too. Let me just fill this out real quick. That one. Put my phone number in. 8 GB Wi-Fi hotspot goes quickly on Boost. Switch up your plan, because I think right now they have. See, the family plan that I'm on right now was 3 lines for 100, 4 lines for 130, and I get, was it 20 gigabytes of mobile hotspot? But then the new plan that they have, I don't know if it's still available, but that one gives you 30 gigabytes of mobile hotspot. This new Boost Mobile plan. Go to the website and check it out, and switch over to that plan, and you'll get more hotspot on that. You're on the $35 a month plan. Let's see. I want to know the freaking. Okay, let's go here. Continue the plans. Yeah, so they have a 2 gigabyte plan, which is $15 a month. A 5 gigabyte plan, which is $30 a month, and then a 1 gigabyte plan, which is $10 a month. So I mean, if you don't use a lot of data, Unreal Mobile is probably going to be like a good service to check out. If you guys haven't heard about them. Just go to their website, and I think they got a couple of phones right now. So they got the ZTE Prestige 2, the Galaxy S6, the iPhone 6. Oh, so 3 phones, and then a MiFi hotspot box. Little Franklin R850. So the Galaxy S6 goes for $149.99, and the iPhone 6 goes for $249.99. So. But yeah, that's Unreal Mobile. Someone was telling me about it, and they were able to like use one of their old Boost Mobile phones and on the bring your own device. U.S. Cellular overpriced? What do you mean overpriced? Like their plans, or are you talking about U.S. Cellular, the company, or? So I know, like over here, we don't, like where I live at, we don't have U.S. Cellular. I know I'm weird. I like pineapple soda. I'm surprised the Sharp Aquos never came back to Boost Mobile. Yeah, that's kind of sad. But I think like what the Sharp Aquos S2 or something like that, Phoenix, Arizona. The S2, I think. I seen photos about that one. I don't know. I don't know if Sharp will ever bring a phone back, especially the Boost Mobile. I can't say. What time is it? I got plans tonight. Oh, it's only 3 o'clock. Yeah, later on tonight, I'm gonna go see The Equalizer 2 movie theaters. I know it's been out for some time, but I've been busy at work. My work schedule is off real big time. I've not been getting much sleep, so for the first time, I'm actually gonna go out. I'm gonna go to a movie. I'm gonna have meatloaf for dinner because I love meatloaf. That's like one of my favorite dishes. So, not going out to eat. Gonna eat at home. Yeah, it depends because some people want more storage. You know, I always tell people like you have adaptable storage with the Moto G6 Play, so you can actually increase the amount of storage. I'm not sure why. Like I know like adaptable storage is not very solid. To me, I would say it's still kind of like in its beta form, because it works right for some, and then for some reason, excuse me, it doesn't work right. Some people have had real bad issues when enabling adaptable storage with their SD card, and some of that is due to the type of SD card that you use. You definitely want to use a more higher powered SD card. Like you do want, you know, was like at least for the write speeds, the write speeds to be like over 100 megabits per second. Why does Boost push 16 gigs? Boost doesn't push anything. That's the very big misconception there. Boost Mobile, Metro PCS, Cricket Wireless do not have say of how much internal storage that the OEMs build. The OEMs build the phone, and for Boost, they're kind of backed into a corner because they're using a network that other carriers are not using. Like GSM is globally used, and T-Mobile and AT&T use that, and Verizon is shifting towards that. Boost Mobile uses CDMA, the same as Sprint, which was thought to be a revolutionary cellular system because of how much channels it can support, which meant how many phone lines that were used on the network traffic wouldn't be so congested, but that turned to backfire into them. But Boost has no choice to go with whatever the OEM makes, because if say LG puts out the Stylo 4 and they're like, all right, this is the CDMA version of the LG Stylo 4. It has 16 gigabytes of internal storage. It has 2 gigabytes of RAM. Boost has no choice but to take it or not take it. If they don't take it, they don't have a Stylo 4 on their network for consumers. If they take it, they do. But then Metros can have 32 gigs, Cricket can have 64 gigs, and that's why I said it's the most common misconception. Everyone likes to point the finger at Boost Mobile, and the reason why is because, of course, Boost Mobile sells the phone. When you walk into their shop or you go to their website, you're buying it from them. So people outright think they make the phone or they have a decision. But they don't. They don't ever go to an OEM and say, this is what I want in the Stylo series you bring out next year. It's got to have this type of storage. It's got to have this amount of RAM. They don't do that. They have bidding wars. They actually have an event where the carriers go to and OEMs showcase their phones, and the carriers bid. This is how, if you ever see like Verizon saying, we got the Moto Z3, it's only exclusive to Verizon. This is how they have those types of deals. It's because they bid for the phones and they bid to have it, like locked to a specific carrier. Oscar, what's up, man? Welcome back. They have them locked to a specific carrier, and that's the only carrier you can get it on. Like when the Pixel came out, the only carrier you can get it on was through Verizon. AT&T, T-Mobile couldn't get an exclusive deal with Google for the Pixel. And that's how they do it. So the question would actually be directed towards the OEM. So like when a phone only has 16 gigs of onboard storage, you want to write Motorola and say, why didn't you guys put 32 gigs if you guys were going to put 32 gigs in the Moto E5 Plus? You know? Money 5 Plus is solid clearance. What do you mean? Sold clearance? Is that what you mean? But the G6 Play still shouldn't be slept on. And even though it has 16 gigs of onboard storage, if you're able to get a high powered SD card to use as adaptable storage, you can increase it. You can put a freaking 64 gig SD card in there and raise it even higher. So, at the end of the day, I mean, the G6 Play is still a good buy. It's just look out for the screen issue that I mentioned. If you start seeing it, take it back for an exchange. That's what I would say to do. Like, I should have did that when I first got it and I first started noticing it. I thought it was probably because, like the first boot up of the phone, you're going to have some jank. There's going to be some jank and some lag. But, afterwards, it should clear right up. But that never happened. And then, with my work schedule and everything, I never had the time to take it back to Walmart and exchange it. And I'm out of my time to do it. Yeah, the G6 Play speaker is loud. Is pretty loud too. That's what I was telling people. Like the G6 Play, the things I like about it, and like coming from the G6 Play to the Stylo 4, the reason why I said that the audio on the Stylo 4 was really bad, it was more preference when I made that statement. Only because the G6 Play has a very loud speaker, but it's not just loud. It's loud stereo in a way, and it has that enrichedness in the sound, and it has that expected type of bass you would expect to get from such a small speaker. But it does not have Dolby. But with the Stylo 4, the speaker at the bottom, it's loud where you can hear it, but it's not like really loud like a G6 Play. And then it's a squawk box. That's what I call squawk boxes. Where just like the bass is not even there. When you hear a bass pop, it's more like. It doesn't have that vibration to it. And I guess that's why, but I mean, I'm still standing by it that the Stylo 4 speaker is not that loud. So if you really need a loudspeaker, yeah, you're going to be disappointed with it. And I don't know if it's going to be the same for the Stylo 4 Plus. Yeah, my Stylo 4, I wish it would get louder also. Yeah, that's the only downside to it, is the speaker is low. Is low. I mean, for ringtones, it's not. I can hear it when it rings. But when you play YouTube videos and stuff like that, it's low. And then, of course, no, it's just very mono. It's just a very mono speaker. It's squawk box. We'll just call it that. It's a squawk box. Oh, my fish is asleep. It's funny when fish sleep because it makes you think they're dead. There we go. Question to Paul Tag. What do you think of the Moto E5 Plus? Paul, take it away. You have the ground now. Yeah. The screen colors and screen representation is fine. But like I said earlier, I think I said this before you joined in, when that's, even with the sun outside, have you noticed this, Paul? When you're outside with the Stylo 4 and you have the full brightness up, when the sun directly hits the display, doesn't it make the display look like a freaking Game Boy Advance display? Yeah, by the way, if you're under the age of 18, vaping is not something that you should be doing recreationally or it's cool or anything like that. I don't support minors doing it. I'm going to throw that out there because I know there's some kids that watch and, yeah, I don't want them to think that vaping is alright for them to do. It helped me quit cigarettes, I'll say that. But that's, if you were smoking cigarettes, vaping's probably the way to go to get off of that. But if you don't smoke cigarettes, don't do anything like that, don't vape. It's not something you want to get into. Yeah, it was for Boost Mobile, it was out of stock for some time. I mean, honestly, if it had went back into stock, I want to say a week ago, I wouldn't have the Stylo 4. I mean, I kind of went with the Stylo 4 too because a lot of people were like disappointed with it. So I kind of wanted to know why. And the only way I'm gonna know why is if I get it and use it. And it's not been a terrible experience. It's just that like I know people are very meticulous about their phones and what it has and what kind of features it has to give. And I mean, I'm just pretty humbled down about it. So Tito, you're being a hypocrite. LOL. It's when a doc that's smoking is saying that smoking is bad for your health. Vaping has nicotine. Depends. So, like, the e-juice that I buy has nicotine in it. There is e-juice that has no nicotine in it. I'm thinking of a video to make about vaping. I don't know yet. Market yourself, dude. Like I know you have a channel. I've been watching some of your videos. If you want to get more traffic, you're gonna have to break out of a shell. That was one of my biggest problems. So is it safe? It has not nicotine. Yeah, because there's no nicotine in it. Like to kind of break down vaping, e-juice is comprised of three things: vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, and nicotine. Now, the two first ingredients, vegetable glycerin is used to get the vape cloud, so that smoke that you see, and propylene glycol is a good flavor carrying agent. Those two ingredients are found in everyday foods and other products you use, like toothpaste. Like go look at toothpaste, go look at mouthwash. You're gonna see these ingredients in there. In foods, you're gonna see vegetable glycerin in it. So these aren't chemicals that's used also to make cigarettes. But nicotine is added in, obviously, to give nicotine to those people who crave it that are addicted to it. Without nicotine, it's just vegetable glycerin, propylene glycol, and flavoring. But even then, still, it's classified as a tobacco product by the FDA, so minors shouldn't be doing it. So it's pretty much the same as a cigarette in the eyes of the government. And until that gets overturned, as those people who support vaping are fighting against it because it's technically not a tobacco product because it's not tobacco. But yeah, that's a whole different thing. But Oscar, my English is bad as fuck today too. Coffee, we're on the same boat. Oscar, one of my biggest problems that I had way at the beginning when I first started YouTubing is like it was exciting to make videos and I was always hyped up of uploading a video, but then I would get scared shitless of people seeing the video. And MC Gomez, happy birthday! I appreciate that. MC Gomez, I mean, you have the E4 Plus. If you're looking for something along the same lines that's just a little bit more up to date, the E5 Plus is out. I'd say take a look at that because that's not a huge difference from what you're using right now, but it's a little bit more updated. Updated software, screen ratios change, 18:9 aspect ratio, which is what a lot of OEMs are going towards. So, or the G6 Play. Thank you, Jaron. But yeah, Oscar, you gotta market yourself, man. If you want to have more traffic, for what type of video you're making, you gotta go to the places. Twitter is going to be one of your biggest tools. Tweet your video. It doesn't matter. People are going to talk shit. You're going to have to deal with that. You're going to have thick skin. There's people that's going to say mad crap about you. They're going to make fun of you. They're going to come on your live streams and troll you. That shit's going to happen. That's inevitable. Can't walk away from that. But if you want your videos to get out there for people to see, you're going to have to clear past all the bullshit and just go for it. Fuck what everyone else is saying, man, and just go for it. It's all or nothing. Hit up Twitter, hit up Facebook, get your videos out there. Go on Reddit. Go to Reddit. Subscribe to threads that are of what your videos are about, and put your videos in there. Don't worry. Don't pay attention. I know it's really hard for people to not pay attention to the negativity because when you hear something about but when you read something about yourself like I'll be honest. I'm always honest with you guys. I'll read a comment and someone will say that I look stupid or I look like a fat ass, or I look like this, I look like that. And it does hurt my feelings. I'm a freaking human just like anyone else does. I have a brain, I think. So when I see something like that, it does hurt. But you have to think about the overall objective and goal. You want for your videos to reach a demographic out there. That way they can find some, um, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm thinking a mile a minute now. ADHD hitting me right now. Entertainment. You're wanting to entertain people. You wanted to give them some information. So you can't let all that bullshit stop you. Like CV Tech had the problem before. I remember I used to chat with that dude all the time, and he would talk about how he was getting so aggravated with people being in his comments saying shit about him. Now he's at where he's at, and he's comfortable where he's at because he's got a massive following. He's not even paying attention to the negativity, but that's really what it's all about. It's not really about numbers, but it's about you being able to overlook all the negativity and do what makes you happy. If making videos is what makes you happy, go for it. Don't let anyone else say shit and stop you. For the price, the Money 5 Plus is a winner. Some cons, no clipboard. Also, photos go straight to Google Photos. Screenshot is not so clear. Cameras so-so. Wi-Fi direct connects, but no video source. Whoa. Whoa. That's interesting. Thanks from the end of my seed. No problem. I appreciate you stopping by on the birthday wish, man. I really do. That's weird because on the Moto E4, the Wi-Fi direct works perfectly. Well, I mean that's the Moto E4, and old school here is talking about the Moto E5 Plus. So who knows? Maybe that's probably something that maybe when I talk about the Moto E5 Plus, maybe I'll do a video just kind of like talking about it without having it in hand. Maybe we can find out if other people with the Moto E5 Plus are having the same issue, because people will. I noticed this too. People will buy a phone, like they'll get like the Moto E5 Plus, then they'll go search YouTube and look at all the reviews about the Moto E5 Plus on their Moto E5 Plus. How many of you guys do that? Because I do that. I bought the LG Stylo 4, and like after I bought it, then I've been scouring YouTube and listening to everyone's review about the Stylo 4. I'm guilty of that. So if you are, just throw a thumbs up. Let me know if you do that too. But yeah, we'll find out. We'll see if that's because Motorola is like has had a track record of just having bad batches of produced hardware, like my G6 Play. God, I hope that 9.0 update fixes that screen issue. I'm hoping it's just software issue and not hardware. Clarence does that. Right on, Clarence. I'm with you there. I'm hoping Walmart does the same exclusive with the Stylo 4 Plus. Like when the Stylo 4 Plus comes out, I hope Walmart gets it. And since they sold like the regular Stylo 4 for $129, hopefully they'll market the Stylo 4 Plus at like $159. That'd be cool. I'd buy it at that price. I can't buy the Stylo 4 Plus for like $250. Between Moto Supra and Moto Plus. Are they pretty much like the same? The Moto Supra is just given the name Supra, but basically it's the E5 Plus. Which G6 Play had 1080p? I mean, yeah, it would be nice to have a 1080p display, but then how much of the battery would it kill? See, there's like two sides to everything. While they could have a 1080p display, how did it affect the battery life? Because that's the thing about it too. Like they want to run these phones optimized for the battery to actually last long. And then 720p is actually not bad if you have a good display panel that can display it right. Like what's his name? Jay Williams, I believe, said it that the E5 Plus had one of the best 720p display panels he's ever seen. And the screen is a 720p display, but it looked damn good. Because there's phones that have a 720p display that look real shitty. So, but yeah, it's also a battery optimization too. I mean, that's the key function there. I saw the Stylo 4 for $129. Yeah, that's how much I got mine. I wasn't gonna pay $200 for what I'm getting out of the Stylo 4. $129 seemed fair. Less would have been better. Yeah, it's weird. It tells me to connect, but the phone logo doesn't show up on my TV. Huh. That's weird. Does it connect? Have you tried connecting to somebody else's smart TV, like a relative, just to kind of see if it's not like your TV that's not connecting to, or even like a Nexus player, or even you know, like try casting it to another like smart TV or something and see if it runs into the same issue. Because it may not be your phone itself. It may be the TV that it's not grasping that. Because like my LG TV, it could I can mirrorcast with my Stylo, and I can mirrorcast with my Nextbit Robin. But my Moto X4, which is what I'm using right now, if I try to cast this to my LG TV, it will not find it. Put Nova on your Moto G6 Play because it can fix a little of the lag. I don't really like. I mean, that's a nice gesture. As a matter of fact, for anyone else out there that has issues with the G6 Play and lag, um, throw on Nova. For me, I've never really been a fan of Nova Launcher. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just a plain old person because whatever UI comes on the phone, I'll use. I mean, if there is one that I like to use, a launcher I do like to use, it's the modded Pixel launchers, and I'll throw those on top of phones. But other than that, like I normally just stick to like the normal launcher. Because when you add another launcher on top of it, you're already sapping up more of the RAM for that launcher to run. So if the UI is already there, just let the UI do its thing. But then again, too, don't be clearing cache all the time. I know a lot of people do that. A lot of people they'll always constantly clear cache, and it's like you need the cache built up so when you go back to certain things that you've done before, like if you go back to Facebook, you go back to Chrome, you go back to whatever, it loads faster because the cache is built up from that site from previously visiting it before. That it allows you to get back into that application a lot quicker and maneuver around it. Like try that. Leave cache built up, go back into an application, and you'll see like how it loads up, and then go and clear cache, clear all the cache out of your phone, and then go back to that site, and then watch how much slower it is to load. Like sometimes you have to clear cache, especially like if things start to run rogue, then yeah, clear the cache, right? But if you're always constantly killing cache, then when you're going back into applications and stuff, it's loading from a fresh point, which is going to take longer than what it did if it came from a point memorized. So that's what RAM is for. Random access memory. It's just for you to be able to run the applications and not have to fully boot them all open again. Can you update a smart TV software over a Wi-Fi hotspot? Yeah, you should be able to. As long as the internet connection, it should work. Now, the amount of time it takes to update a smart TV depends on how much bandwidth you have with your service provider. Because if you have internet service provider like I do, my internet service package is 300 megabytes up, 300 megabytes down per second. So things are really quick on my internet. And then if you're using mobile hotspot on your phone, and say like your phone's up and down is like 60 megabits per second, and then up is like 50 megabits per second. The speed times of getting that update done is going to be a little bit longer. You get what I'm saying? I have the LG Tribute Dynasty. Cool. That's a phone I was wanting to get, never got. I don't know why I forgot about getting it. Yeah. So I mean, it just depends on whatever. Like if you have your hotspot on, connect another phone to it, and then run a speed test. I'll tell you like what you're looking at as far as like network speeds. But yeah, I mean, it's internet source. So as long as it can connect to the internet, your smart TV should be able to update. I know there's people that use their phones for home internet. Like, I don't know if you guys remember him, Tekinator, Dominic Gresham. That guy ran everything off mobile hotspot. Like I think he got kicked off Sprint because they finally caught on to him using so much hotspot. Oh, cool. That's what I thought. Yeah, I haven't seen that guy put up a video in a while. But yeah, I remember he like when he used to like chat with me on Hangouts. He would always tell me he had everything going off his Sprint hotspot. Why do people complain about 2 gigs? It holds up well. What do you mean about 2 gigs? 2 gigabytes of data, 2 gigabytes of RAM. Um, really, when it comes to, because like we're not all born, you know, with every bit of knowledge when it comes to computers, computer science, computer technology. So people judge things at a base random scale, and that base random scale is number, right? So when you look on paper, obviously 3 is more than 2. So when you go into a store and a person tells you this phone has 2 gigabytes of RAM, this one has 3 gigabytes of RAM, immediately people automatically assume that you have to have 3 gigabytes of RAM. It's better than 2, which in a way it is, but they don't understand the reasoning behind it. The it's like it's like when people used to be like, way back in the day when Android was in its infancy, phones had 1 gigabyte of RAM, and people were like, every phone should have 1 gigabyte of RAM instead of 512 megabytes. The thing about it was that people were go and post up in the forums. Tito, a random Q. I don't think you ever talked about it. What kind of music do I like? I'll get into that in a second. Happy birthday from Atlanta. 23 King Troy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, people were in the forums talking about RAM, and they were like, they use RAM cleaners all the time. They kill off every task. They use task managers and they kill off every task, every task. And I got flamed so bad. And I was just trying to make a point, like, why are you guys killing off the tasks? Like, it doesn't make sense to do that. Like, when you kill off Android tasks, all it's going to do is reopen those tasks again. Because when you kill off all the tasks, you're killing off, like, the weather, you're killing off the time, you're killing off the date, you're killing off all these things that are necessary in background of Android to function properly. And all Android's going to do is reopen all those tasks. And then on top of that, you want 1 gigabyte of RAM, and you're trying to make sure that you're only using 256 megabytes of RAM. Then what's the point of having 1 gigabyte of RAM? You should only have that much. Like, the amount of RAM, it does not have to do with storage. I know some people got that confused and thought that, oh yeah, it has 2 gigabytes of RAM. That's memory, so that's how much storage you have. Like, no, it's how much of memory you have to run processes. And if you're going to kill off so many tasks where you're barely using any of your RAM, then what's the point of having 1 gigabyte or 2 gigabyte of RAM? There's wasted RAM is what it is. What causes problems when it comes to RAM is when you have memory leak. When you have memory leak, then you have a problem, and that's when your phone's going to run with a lot of jank. Okay. I see. We'll cut it. Species require at least 3.2 gigs of RAM for correct. Yeah, there are some things that you're gonna need in order to run certain things. You're gonna need a lot of RAM to do so. Like, that is true. But if you're constantly killing off tasks and you really have like right there, you have a legitimate reason to require something of that higher rate of RAM. Some people just go on Facebook and that's the only thing they do on their phone. And they think that you gotta have 3 gigabytes of RAM. You don't even have to have 2 gigabytes of RAM to get on Facebook. So, music that I like. Coffee wants to know what kind of music I like. Are you guys ready for this? It's kind of embarrassing. So I'm real into grunge rock and cliche. Favorite band is Nirvana. It's been my favorite band. Favorite album is Bleach. Other bands that I do like that are kind of like, in grunge rock and rock, Foo Fighters, Smashing Pumpkins. So it kind of goes into that realm. I also kind of like music from like the mid 80s to the early 90s. So bands like The Cure, like I'm a big fan of them. Other bands like Toto, Aha, Tears for Fears, just some of those types of stuff. So that's the kind of music I like. But yeah. Anyone see the black octopus on the Moto E5 Plus? Black octopus? Are you talking about the Easter egg? Hold on. Let me bring it up and see if it's the same thing. Well, I think you're talking about the Easter egg thing. That's an Android. Um, Little squid-like guy, Squiddy. All right, software info, Oreo. Are you talking about that? Yeah, I like that kind of music. I don't know. I mean, no disrespect to the music today. I can't relate to it. I know the younger generation today can relate to that kind of stuff. I can't. You know. Um, but yeah, I mean, those are the music that I like to listen to. My girlfriend thinks I'm crazy for that, and I know sometimes she kind of ducks her head when I play it in the car. But I like that kind of music. So even like David Bowie and what the hell is his name? Billy Idol. It's all cuss words. Yeah. You're eating pork skins, chicharrones. Yeah, they call them pork skins, pork rinds, chicharrones, pork skins. I appreciate that, Oscar, but like I said, you know, at one point, it was about numbers for me, and I think it was like what, like almost around a year ago. I said I was gonna fall back on YouTube, and I think what it was and what changed for me was like I stopped caring about the numbers. It wasn't about the numbers anymore. I mean, I appreciate that, but my goal is not to hit 9,000 subscribers or anything like that. I've let go of that ambition, and it's not that like I don't care. I do care. I care about you guys, and I care about the content I bring to you guys and what I say, and what I'm able to help out with. But the numbers is not a major factor for me, and it won't be anymore. Like I'm not chasing numbers, but what I'm chasing is interactions with good people and making good friendships. Like I would love to at some point, when I can do a little travel around the country. When I get to that point in life where I can just like take summer vacations and go across country. That if I stop off in places, I'll get to meet you guys face to face. That would be awesome. I've met one person, the person you guys heard me mention lately, the dude from Walmart, Gene, and that was like out of like total randomness that he even recognized me and like just came up to me and started talking to me. And since then, like he stays in touch with me on Twitter, and he actually helped me out getting the Stylo 4. I didn't have to chase it all over the city. He told me they had 4 in stock in the store, and then the day I was gonna go buy it, I was like, "Do you guys still have the 4 in stock?" He's like, "Yeah," and I went in there, and sure enough, it was there. So, but I would love to meet everybody. I do plan at some point. I do plan to go to VidCon. The next time VidCon comes around, I do plan to go. Um, I know one of my old coworkers. She started a YouTube channel about exercising and getting and staying in fit, for women, and she actually went out to VidCon, and so I was like, I'd never done it, so I should do it sometime. I've gone out to like LA, and I think I never planned it, and I thought about it too. It was like wasted time because I could have planned to meet up with Tech, right? I could have planned to meet up with Paul. I could have like drove out to somewhere where they were at and met up with them in person. And I was like, damn, that's wasted opportunity. I could have done that, but I was like focused on like family and family vacation. It didn't come to mind. But I am planning of going to the Googleplex, and I think when I do that, I might talk with them and see if they want to, around the time that I'm going to be around there, if they're available and free to meet up and hang out. Maybe I'll live stream it. But I think if I go to do that, it would be just to hang out with them, and maybe like a quick little video snippet of just being around them. But like, yeah, I don't know. That's like future, like future thinking. But my goal is to like for a lot of you guys who interact with me is to one day to meet you guys. Even if you guys for some reason took a vacation trip and came out to Phoenix, I would want you guys to hit me up and tell me you guys are here, and I would go and meet you guys. Um, but yeah, the numbers things is not what matters to me. So, but I appreciate that. The gesture is recognized. I appreciate that. But what you gotta do, Oscar, is get your videos out there. That's what I'm telling you. It's like anyone else out there that wants to start up a YouTube channel. You gotta get out there. You gotta get people going. Flock of seagulls, space angels. Yes. Well, rap back then had cuss words. Um. Okay. I'm gonna be blunt. It's gonna offend some people, but yes, hip hop and rap back in the day had cuss words, and yeah, it did talk about female anatomy, but they also had something to talk about. And even then, I guess I would say the way I would judge it is that their lyrical content was a lot better in them putting these poetic rhymes together than the way it is today. Sorry for the newer generation and the new style of music, but it's not to say that no one should listen to this new style of music because, of course, that's what the younger generation likes. I now know how my dad felt when I was young and I was listening, to all these musics, like different types, because I never was ever rooted to just one type of music style. I liked all types of music because it was like my escape from like, pubescent mood swings and adolescent bullshit. And my dad would just look at me like, "You guys call that music?" But now I understand where he's coming from because I listen to the stuff that like my sons listen to, like they listen to Tekashi 6ix9ine and all that, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" It's music, Dad, and I feel old because I know my next words. I should just shut up and keep it to myself because my dad did it to me. Not juicing up my tank now. I need to buy another Kanger tank. Actually, this one's actually pretty good. I'll hit you up on Facebook with what this tank is, and it's a sub-ohm tank. It's actually really good. I cracked the bulb because it comes with two different types of glass. So this one right here is a straight glass, and I think it holds up to like 5 milliliters of e-juice. And then it has the one that's a bulb, so like the center part of the glass sticks out more, and that holds 7 milliliters of e-juice. And I dropped it, and it cracked. Like, I dropped it multiple times before, and it never broke. And then one day, like, it just fell in my pocket. It slid down my leg, and then it slid across the floor. But when I picked it up, there was a hole. Juice was leaking out. I was like... So I ended up having to put the other replacement glass in, which is not a bulb, but... So are we... So are we going to see a Shiggy dance challenge from you dancing outside? Nah, dude. This guy's got no rhythm in dance. I do not dance. Okay, I'll admit that I don't dance. I dance like my girlfriend gets mad because she's like, like I'll dance for her because it's my lady, and like I'm just goofing around. I'm not being serious or nothing. And she's like, "You can dance. You should go to the dance with me." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's different. There's a difference in me dancing in front of you to make you laugh, so you have laughs, than me going in public in front of a lot of people and then trying to dance. It just won't happen. This guy can't dance. Phoenix is too hot. Oh, yeah. It is. Best part about Phoenix, it's a required law that your place of residence have some sort of cooling system, whether it's a swamp cooler or an AC. Can't live in a house, and the owner of the house can't have the house, and they'll get fined if their AC is not running. Why my mod can't go more higher than 40 watts if I put it more up? It tastes like burnt. It's the type of coil you're using. And it's the type of wattage the coil supports. So like if you're using a Kanger tank and you put an atomizer inside which has the coil, if the atomizer could only support, let's say between 25 and 35 watts, like that's the range it should be around to be where you're going to get the best out of it. If you go higher, you could go higher if you want, but yeah, you have the risk factor of it tasting like it's burnt. That's why I use sub-ohm tanks, because sub-ohm tanks for vaping allows you to go a lot higher. Like for me, like this tank, I stay in a safe zone. I vape it at like 45.1 watts, And that's only because like I want the flavor, I want the vapor production, but I also want to be able to save battery because I'm running two 18650 batteries in here. If I was to bring it up to where it's a little bit better, which is like at 55 watts, close to 60, like I'll get a nice warm taste to the flavor, but then I'm also going to kill the battery a lot faster. Which I mean, I have a second set of batteries, but I just don't burn it out quick. So if you want to have more flavor, more vapor production, you're going to want to step it up a little bit and go to a sub-ohm version. Now there's different ones. There's different types of starter kits. Um, what's the one I used to use? I'll tell you in Facebook Messenger which one I use to start out with, and you can start off with that. Um, Now, if you're feeling a little bit more like you can build your own coils, you could actually get an RDA dripper, which requires you to build your own coils and to wick it with organic cotton, and but then you would have to use a box mod that has like a good DNA chip inside of it that can regulate it, so it doesn't you know doesn't like burn out. Or if you use a mech mod, which I wouldn't suggest anyone using a mechanical mod because those are the ones that you see on the news about exploding. So, but yeah, this dude can't dance, so you'll never see me dance. Um, Paul, how's everything going, man? Since are you back at home now? Like since the evacuation? Because I remember, like the last couple of videos you put out, you did talk about being evacuated out of your home because of the fire. But you guys back at home? Is everything okay? Oh my God, my neighbors are being loud again. Can you guys hear them? Put a thumbs down if you guys heard my neighbors yelling. I don't get them. Their stairwell is right behind my bedroom wall. They live upstairs, but like it's weird. Their front door is downstairs, and then they have a stairwell that goes up to their living room. The way they designed these apartments is just crazy. Who came up with that idea? Anybody got any more questions they want to ask or anything they want to kind of throw in there? Oh, you didn't hear that? Good. Because the guy was like yelling at his kid. I don't understand. Like, I know today's generation, I mean, like, yeah, we kind of blur the line. How many kids do I have? I have 5 kids. They're 13, 12, 7, 6, and 3. Let me make sure I got that right. 13, 12, 7, 6, 3. Yeah. My oldest son is 13. He'll be 14 this December. And my second oldest is also a boy, and he'll be 13. My 7-year-old turns 8 next month. My youngest daughter just turned 6 beginning of this month. And my son turned 3 in the end of July. Which is weird because my youngest daughter, me and my girlfriend, like our birthdays are in August, but they're also 9 days apart. So my youngest daughter's birthday is on August 9th. Mine is today, which is the 18th. And then my girlfriend's birthday is on the 27th. So 9, 18, 27 multiples of 9 in the month of the 8th. All right, old school. I appreciate you coming in and thank you for the birthday wishes. Really appreciate that. Enjoy your weekend. Try to enjoy mine. I know tomorrow's SummerSlam. I'm going to watch that. I watch wrestling. I haven't really been too much into it, though, just because I don't like this new direction that they're going, and they don't know what to do with their talents. But all right. See ya. Happy birthday to me. Thank you. OMG, LOL. What do you mean? Oh my gosh. What do you mean? Like that I watch wrestling? I mean, yeah. I mean, I still watch it. When it was WWF, yeah. Until the World Wildlife Foundation sued them over the acronym, and they changed it to World Wrestling Entertainment. I still watch it today. Some of the stuff is good. Like I like what they've done with the women, only because it's not all about pose offs in the ring. Like they actually wrestle, so that's a good thing. They're not just looked for a piece of meat, but actually for wrestling talent. I should listen to that Tekashi 69 did. How horrible his music is. I was scared. I recall the Hitman back then in my face. The Rockers. The Rockers. Thumbs up, coffee. I used to like. I mean, when Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels were together as the Rockers, um, it was just crazy because like I idolized them when I was a kid, and just the way that they worked as a tag team, they were always in sync, including the double fist drop from the turnbuckles that they would do, and I think one time I got sad because like I was watching the Royal Rumble, and of course the Royal Rumble's every man for themselves, and so they worked together as a tag team, and then at those points you would see them turn on each other and try to eliminate each other, and I was like thinking that they were fighting, but then it really hit me that they were broken up as a tag team when Shawn super kicked Marty Jannetty and then threw him through the little window on I think it was a what Brutus the Barber Beefcake's talk show on there. Yeah, the barbershop. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, back then we didn't know too much about like all the kayfabe that they had. Like nowadays, it just really. Yeah, we are back home now, but so many homes lost from the fire. But everything's cool with your house, right? I'm glad you made it back home, man. And if your house is intact and nothing was damaged from the fire, man, that's awesome. Awesome. Big shout outs, big shout outs. I was worried about that, man. I was like, I know that they asked you guys to evacuate. You guys really couldn't take anything with you, but what you could, at the moment. There's rumors that Dean Ambrose betrayed Seth Rollins after SummerSlam. Yeah, it looks like it. You kind of get that vibe, right, when he showed up on Raw, and he came out there to help him against Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. Like you just see it, like he's gonna go heel. Maybe it's because he has that Triple H look now. He buzzed his head. So I don't know. That's awesome, Paul. Like I'm really really happy that your home was untouched and that all of you guys made it out safely. And that's the main thing, man. Natural disasters suck. I mean, I posted on Facebook, just a little recap to about being alive for 36 years, and I mentioned it there. And one of my friends, I actually asked me this because I put in there that I survived the volcanic eruption, I've survived massive earthquakes, a super typhoon, drove past a tornado, and walked in a blizzard. And someone was like, "You couldn't have gone through all that. That's a lot of natural disasters to go through." So I had to name it off. I was in the Philippines when Mount Pinatubo erupted, and they evacuated everybody out of Clark Air Force Base. And so yeah, I witnessed the volcanic eruption because that volcano erupted I think 3 or 4 times before its actual full eruption. But we were already off the island on the USS Abraham Lincoln, already evacuated out of there. So we didn't see the main full eruption. However, that eruption was so big that it cooled the Earth by I think 9 or 10 degrees. Like the entire world, its weather was cooled down because of all the ash and everything. For a super typhoon, I want to say in 1993, my mom lived in Guam, which is a very small ass island out there in the Pacific, close to the Philippines, really close to the equator, very small. And I lived with my mom for some time, and a super typhoon hit. What actually happened was there was 2 typhoons, which is pretty much a hurricane. It's just called typhoons because it's in a different region of the world. And they actually collided together out at sea and formed one giant typhoon, and that hit the island of Guam. And Guam is a very small island. It's like it takes 2.5 hours to drive around the whole thing. That's how small it is. It destroyed so many homes. Luckily, the home that we were living in survived, but we didn't have electricity for 4 months. It had completely wiped the electric grid, so we were out of electricity for 4 months. It was just a pain in the ass. People were living off of generators. It sucked. Earthquakes in the Philippines. They had several earthquakes when we were there on Clark Air Base. I think the biggest one we had was like an 8.7 that shook the island. for a tornado. When I lived in Oklahoma, of course, Oklahoma's in Tornado Alley, and every now and then a tornado spawns. And driving on the way home, Highway Patrol stops me because a giant wall cloud was there, and there was an actual funnel running on the ground in between Texas and the border of Oklahoma. Because I was actually driving back from Wichita Falls, going to Altus, and there was a tornado on the ground. So I seen tornadoes. And a blizzard. I was living in Oklahoma City, and they actually got hit by a blizzard. And I mean, it was snowing so bad that I kind of went snow drifting because the grounds was so slick. I took my car into this vacant parking lot with snow and freaking drove as fast as I could, and then whipped the wheel and watched my car spin around really quick. Of course, there was no cops around really because like the roads were snowed over. But then one of the other funnest things to do was there was a bridge that went over the I-240, and it was all caked out in snow and ice, and we just like took boogie boards and freaking slid down them. And yeah, it was the blizzard was really bad. But yeah, so I've been through those. And people were just like, wow, so you really did go through it. If I could get that detailed and everything that happened. And I'm like, yeah, I don't put shit up just to make shit up. Like, I'd say that my life was pretty interesting. For, like, the natural disasters I've experienced, I haven't been through a tsunami, like an actual one. Hawaii's always gotten tsunami warnings, and then when the tsunami wave hit, it was so weakened that it came as a ripple that barely came up shore. What else is there? What else natural disasters do we have? Well, besides, drought, but I know like Arizona and California have been declared in a drought for a long time. It's been that way. But yeah, hurricanes, typhoons, same thing, been through them. Crazy enough. So if you guys have any other questions you guys want to ask, feel free to ask them. If you're curious, since Coffee already asked about the music, I pretty much already opened up about natural disasters I've been through. Anything non-tech related you guys want to know about me, feel free to ask. Now's your chance, because I'm actually opening up a little bit more. I think my phone's charged enough. Yep, charged to 100%. Oh, Tony Pazza just uploaded a video. 1+6 survival kit. 529. Free shipping 0. I'll check that video out later. Oh my gosh. The comments died. It was like an AMA. Ask me anything. Anything you guys want to know. If it's within reason. Don't ask me for my checking account number or something like that. I did that to somebody once as like a joke. They were like, "Yeah, you can ask me anything." I was like, "Okay, what's your routing number and account number?" And they just gave me this dirty look, and I'm like, "You said ask me anything." I can be a smart ass at times. My dad knows. My dad hates it when I'm a smart ass. Any question you guys would like to ask, or if you guys want to call it a day, we can call it a day. Let me know if you guys want to end the broadcast now, and I can end it now, or if you guys want to ask something, go for it. I would play some music, but I know YouTube is pretty freaking. I don't know. Well, anything is anything. He said that there, Coffee. He said that there. I really wish YouTube would be a little bit more relaxed. It just feels so dreary. It's so dreary with it being so quiet. Like, I would love to play some music right now, just kind of liven it up. But then I know, like, YouTube is going to make a big deal about it. And it's like, I'm not selling the song. Like, I would understand if I was selling the song or something. I could understand them being like, copyright infringement, blah, blah, blah. But, by the way, I'm going to ask you guys something. Is there any new YouTubers I should check out? Everything was more relaxed before. Now everyone or thing gets by her. Oh, yeah. Have you heard about the Symantec distrust that's going on with the internet? No. I haven't heard about that. You want to tell me about that? Can't do this, can't do that, can't say this, can't say that. Such bull. Yeah. Oh, come on, Oscar. 96 degrees, I would take that any day over 107. A lot of my trusted sites are being blocked. Why? Like, what's happening with that? Man, this is already a 2 hour and 25-minute stream. If anyone watches the replay, they're going to have a lot to watch. I'm pretty sure people just kind of like skip and try to find like the most interesting points and listen and then skip. Tell me honestly, how many guys do that? Like if I do a live stream and it's like 2 hours long or an hour and a half long, how many guys actually watch the whole thing from beginning to end? If you do, put one. Just type one. If you skip to interesting points, type two. Did you actually watch through the whole thing? Wow. I did not expect that. One and two. So it depends, right? It depends on what the conversation is. Firefox and Google are making site change their certificates. Uh-huh. Here's a funny answer. I'm waiting for this. No, I didn't hear about Twitter changing its API for third-party apps. Is this going to be bad news? Like, are they going to block more third-party apps for being able to use Twitter, or are they going to open up? I'll put on the replay, lay down and fall asleep while it's going. So it's like, hey, if I can help you get a good night's rest, pat on my back. Anything that I do, if it helps, that's great. So if it helps you get to sleep, then that's cool. I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest. There's people that have voices that could, put you to sleep. Like, I'll watch a YouTube video, and then I'll watch a video, and I'll have some person, and just like the way their voice sounds, it's so tranquil that it can just put you to sleep. Well, yeah, I mean, the internet changing is going to happen. We don't have net neutrality no more. That was done away. To whatever that guy's name, what's his name? Ajit Pai or whatever. But yeah, that's what sucks for us is the internet, how they're going to be able to do things. Some third-party apps are going to lose some features from Twitter. Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know what's up with Twitter. They keep pulling all this stuff, and then certain apps that people like to use will no longer get features. Like, I know they're trying to narrow it down because they want people to use the official Twitter app instead of using things like, like Phoenix. I know Phoenix is an app you can use for Twitter. Well, no, I never said you said it was boring, but if it helps you go to sleep. Yeah, I get you. But yeah, if it helps you sleep, that's great. It's doing something. That's all I want my videos to do is to help you guys in some form or way, whether it's making a good conscious buy and buying mobile tech products, if it's finding a new product that you may not have heard of, or if it's helping you get to bed at night so you can unwind from a hard day and kick your feet up. Sometimes I do that. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, have you guys used the Google Podcast app to listen to podcasts? Because I like listening to podcasts, just audio, no visual, and I'll play that and I'll listen to it and I'll fall asleep to it. Or like at work, if it's like really, if you have a lot of downtime at work, it's really boring, I listen to podcasts. You have Stitcher? Okay. Check out Viper. Oh, who's Viper? Or Stitcher, however it's written. Wow. Oh, man. No. I kind of like moved a lot of the the gameplay of Pokemon Go Plus to an audio show on SoundCloud. I've been doing that now and just been kind of putting it up there and just talking about gaming up there. I don't think it really requires video. There's a lot of Pokemon Go players that do YouTube videos, and I don't see a lot of it going off in SoundCloud, so that's kind of like where I put that at. So I'll talk about the gameplay over there. But yeah, I listen to other podcasts. It's kind of crazy. That's where I heard that podcast where he had an individual, what's his name, Joe Hindi, literally said he had like no interest in budget devices, and I'm like, you work for a company called Android Authority, and if it's about Android's all aspects. It's not just flagship phones; it's also mid-range phones. So if you have no interest in using a mid-range to give any thoughts about it, then why should we trust anything you say? How's that going for me on Pokemon Go? It's going good. I actually have a team of people together. As a YouTuber. Alright, so the YouTube channel is called Viper. There's nothing else to it. Just because I want to make sure I find the right channels. You know, sometimes you type in a YouTube channel name and like 6 options pop up. And you're like, which one do you go to? So, but yeah, in Pokemon Go Plus, I'm kind of like, I'm not hardcore playing it, but I can say I'm grinding it out. Like I have a team that meets up on community day, and then we go out. We hit different places. On certain weekends when we're all available, we'll get together and then we'll go raiding all over the city. So we'll plan out which gyms we're gonna go hit up to raid, and when we get there, like if there's any other raids going on, we'll kind of like time them by how much time there's left for that raid, so we maximize what we get. And then when I get news and stuff like that on my Pokecast on SoundCloud, I give out all the info that's going on. Like I know the Celebi research starts in 2 days. So on August 20th, a special research will be Celebi. If you haven't caught Mew, you still can finish up the special research task for Mew, but you'll also be able to do the ones for Celebi as well. Unless, if you're still on the missions for Mew and you haven't completed at least 3 out of 8, then you won't get the Celebi missions unlocked yet. So you have to be further in the Mew missions in order to do Celebi at the same time. But then there's that. I know Chikorita is September 22nd, I think, is Community Day for September. It's Chikorita, which is a Gen 2 Grass-type starter. And, hey! Abington Bronx, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, I mean, all that information is on SoundCloud and my audio podcast. I shared a link on Facebook, so if you want to ever listen to it, if you're on my Facebook, it's there. But yeah, I figured I would do it there. Like I have too much going on in the day to make videos about Pokemon Go playing, and then also doing videos about tech and other geek and nerd related things. Like I just have to slow it down in videos because I don't want to get burned out making videos. So this channel is more of my focus. And then for my gameplays and stuff in Pokemon Go, I podcast that. Or there's Instagram, because I do put up videos on IGTV, and I'll just leave those there for that. But yeah, if you guys play Pokemon Go, I'll put my link to my Instagram, and then you guys can share your trainer code if you guys want to add me as a friend. Then I'll add you as a friend, send gifts or whatever. Yeah, we should. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to start probably in October. I'm going to start having like a guest invite for a live stream here on YouTube. My Chromebook is on the fritz. More likely I didn't take care of it, so I'm going to get fixed. Once I get it back, then I'll be live streaming from that. And then I'll also give me the ability to actually simul stream, I believe. Okay, Viper with Wise. 3 Wise is his YouTube channel. Alright, I'll definitely check out Viper. That'd be something cool. I'm always looking for new channels to check out and everything like that. I still watch my favorite channels. I look for new channels to check out. And, yeah. Okay, it was about that time. Yep. So I'm gonna let you guys go. It's like 4:04 p.m. right now. I have to get ready because I'm gonna go see The Equalizer 2, and I might do a movie review about The Equalizer 2. I know probably someone already did one, but I'm gonna do my own. Um, that's what I do. So, and yeah, I'll probably jump on here tomorrow for a little bit. I'm gonna watch SummerSlam, and I'm probably gonna go pogo playing. Just for you, his energy is crazy. You'll see that when he uploads a video of any of. Oh yeah, no problem, no problem. Actually, no. Thank you for spending time with me, because it'd be a lonely live stream if there was 0 people in here and I had no one to talk to. You guys are the ones that makes these live streams so entertaining. So, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys. I applaud you guys for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. So, and thank you guys so much for the birthday wishes. You guys really have made my day. I appreciate that. I really do. And yeah, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for the birthday gift, the $2. I appreciate that. I'm going to put that into the funds to save for probably the Moto E5 Plus. But I'm more than likely going to get the Stylo 4 Plus first. I'll let you guys know. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you guys will know because I keep you guys up to date on there. But yeah, Jaron, thanks for hanging out. TJ, Coffee. Give shout outs Oscar, Paul Tech. You guys are awesome for coming in and hanging out with me. So, Abington, Bronx, all you guys, thank you so much. Love you guys very much. You guys be safe this weekend. I'll talk to y'all later. Aloha.